Hello, my name is Josh Giesler.
I'm Colin Hart.
I'm Jordan Hart.
And this is WUBRG Weekly. Weekly.
So this is the Goblin test pilot. So this is our pilot episode. So we're just trying stuff out and seeing how our rhythm works.
Yeah. There should be at some point intro music and a cool splash screen. And
we need an epic guitar solo in our intro.
So if you want to give us one of those, it'd be sweet.
Write us an intro.
Yeah.
And give us a place to record that isn't a basement. But
so anyways, so since this is our first episode, we are going to introduce ourselves, tell you guys a little bit more about us, tell you about what the show is going to be about, and then we're just going to do the show. So let's go first.
Go ahead.
All right. So like I said, I'm Colin Hart. I got into card games when I was a freshman in college, which is really weird. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Starting when I was a freshman in college. It's about like 5 or 6 years behind everyone else. So I played that for a little bit. I never actually got competitive until I played Magic with this guy right here, who taught me how to play when I was between sophomore and freshman year of college. I started playing green. He gave me a green deck with some worms to play. I lost every round of that FNM, but since then I've gotten only better, I hope to say.
To be fair, it was a really good meta.
It was a good meta. Since then, I've been playing. I played zombies for a while in Innistrad Block. I played some other aggressive decks, but I've really gotten into graveyard-based strategies. Since then, I played Junk Rights for a while. I loved that deck. Favorite deck ever. Right now, I'm playing Black-Green Judge in Standard. I play Storm in Modern, and I'm getting into Legacy, but obviously, you know, it's really hard to afford, and I wasn't around for that, so. That's me. So.
And I'm Jordan Hart. I started playing because these guys started playing, and nobody played Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. So I started playing Magic with them because I had no one else to play with. So I fought it for a long time. I said Magic was stupid. Clearly I was wrong because here we are making a video. My first FNM was only a couple FNMs after he was playing Worms, and I had a $20 toolkit from which I pulled nothing good. But I thought they were great at the time. Half of the deck was not standard, so we changed it on the way to the FNM. And I ended up beating a couple people, one of which was the Splinter Twin deck, which was pretty funny. But I think I won 2 or 3 rounds that night with a deck that didn't make any sense, and it really wasn't very good. But from there, we've grown leaps and bounds over the last 2 or 3 years.
So much.
It's been a vast improvement. My favorite deck of all time was a toss-up. It was the Innistrad Return to Ravnica Standard. It's a toss-up between Jund midrange, with mine was black heavy with Liliana of the Veil, and a lot of vampires, and Bant Wolfrun. Bant Wolfrun was a lot of fun with Thragtusk.
Oh, I remember that deck.
That was really when we improved the most, was when Thragtusk was legal, when we had them, and a lot of people. We just had
we sold a lot of our old cards that we didn't think were worth anything. We ended up getting 2 play sets of Thragtusks. That's when we actually started taking off as players. But right now I think I play Mono Black Storm and Legacy. Modern, I just played America Blend with Delvers and Snapcasters with nothing expensive. It was pretty much pauper, but it was funny.
Snapcasters are pretty fun.
And Standard, I'm bouncing between control decks and playing Junk because my heart is with Obsidat, but my sense tells me to play Control because everybody's playing creatures.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now with me.
All right. So again, I'm Josh Giesler, and these guys will probably call me Goose.
Don't forever be Goose. Never Josh.
Don't worry about the reason why. Maybe I'll tell you some other day. If you guys write in enough and ask me, you know, why Goose, I'll finally tell you. But until then, I'm
so
not gonna.
First email that says why is your name Goose will probably get the answer.
Yeah, probably. So I started getting into card games when I was in high school. I started out buying a starter Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Yu-Gi-Oh is just the gateway drug.
Right.
Wow.
But that wasn't what. So my mother, though. So I come from a Christian family, and but I'm studying to become a pastor. And my mother was like, I don't know how I feel with this. Like, you know. Some of the cards.
We got there too.
Yeah. Some of these cards, they seem kind of weird. And I don't know if I appreciate this. So she did some research, and she found me this Christian card game called Redemption, and I played that fairly competitively.
As competitive as
I could because there was no one really around.
Competitive.
Yeah.
So in the schoolyard.
But
for
no one played at school either. So I played online with a lot of people. The only rule there was that you had to have the actual cards, and it was kind of like an honor system. I went to a few tournaments and stuff, but eventually I saw a lot of these people on the website saying how much like they played this game and they really like it, but they preferred Magic, and I just love card games in general. I have boxes and boxes of dead card games. I have like Lord of the Rings. I have Chaotic. I have Pokemon's not dead, but I have Pokemon L5, which is also not dead, but I have it.
Pretty close. It's
Mega Man. I have some old Duel Masters cards, which are now Kaijudo.
Kaijudo's fun, though.
Yeah. But I love old card games, and so I have a whole bunch, and I've been wanting. Oh, Digimon, both Digimon, the old card game, and the newer one, and then there's a newer one that just came out this year.
Newer.
Yeah, so I need to get that.
Newest is the word.
The newest one that came out this year.
Newest.
So I need to get my hands on that one. So I started playing Magic. I traded some redemption cards for my first deck, which was a Merfolk deck, which was currently, at the time, was in Standard.
Yeah.
It had Mall Drifters in it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Those are pretty good cards. Never played competitively, though. Never actually got to play it until I started playing more competitively in college. Bought toolkits with my friend Eric, who's also these guys' friends. But,
yeah, but we hate him. I'm just gonna...
He's supposed to be here tonight, but I don't know where he is. Anyways, and then after these guys got into it a little more, I was more willing to get more competitive, more willing to spend a little more money. Not as much as these guys did. But
meaning we shamed him.
They did shame me. So now I play as competitively as I can on my budget, which means that currently in Standard I play Red, White, Burn, and in Modern I play Storm. I don't play Legacy. Yeah.
Legacy. Yeah. He's Legacy.
And when I can afford it, I try to draft, but the better you are at drafting, the more reasonable it is to actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been drafting a lot at school. I have a shop literally a minute walk from my apartment at school, and we draft every Thursday. So M14 we drafted about 100,000 times. So I know M14.
But realistically, it was probably about 100,000 times.
Yeah, like really a lot. Yeah, like more than a lot of pros do. More than Finkel at least.
Yeah, but we bought a box. We actually traded in cards for a box, and that was the box he drafted out of. So you actually didn't spend any money.
Yeah, didn't actually spend any money. That's a good. We can give a lot of tips on how to save money.
He went infinite.
Going infinite is what
He went infinite in paper.
Right.
Yeah. So $100 later, we actually ended up with about 6 boxes.
Which seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Seems like a decent deal.
When you're good, you get more cards than when you're not. So that's logic.
That's true.
Yeah.
Unfortunate truth.
Yeah.
All right. So that's us. And so let's talk about the show. I think some of our goals for the show, some of my goals are to talk about recent tournaments and like how we see the meta forming in whatever format it was. Booster draft, sealed, or more popularly Standard and Modern, and maybe even Legacy if we care enough.
I care.
You care enough.
I care.
All right, good. You guys care enough.
Yeah.
That's part of what we're talking about. Today, we're going to talk about M15 and some cards that we find interesting. And we're even going to do some practice packs, like limited resources.
And we can talk about the pre-release, too.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about pre-release.
We'll do that first, actually.
Yeah.
Talk about pre-release.
Yeah.
Because it was this past weekend. It's Monday, and this past weekend was...
So, that's the big tournament we get to talk about.
So yeah. M15 is yet to be released, so we have yet to see what's happening in Standard, but we're going to take a guess what's going to happen.
Then we'll probably talk about next week what we actually think is going to happen.
You get to comment with how dumb we are and how wrong we were about how the cards, got to be played.
Yeah,
the pros thought of something way better than what we did.
They probably will.
They probably will. I hope they're professionals. I hope they do.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk about Pro Tour M15, which is going to be Standard with
the first core set Pro Tour, I believe. They've never done that before.
And it's going to be the first, I think one of the first big tournaments, especially it's a Pro Tour.
Yeah.
With 2 core sets.
Yeah, they usually only do the World Magic Cup and the World Championship with.
Do they do that in Standard?
They do Standard a little bit.
Okay.
They unified Standard and World Magic Cup. But.
Oh, that's where they split the team thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that individually Yeah, the
No.
Pro Tour along with drafts. So
Yeah, that's gonna be some interesting stuff.
It's gonna be fun.
We'll talk about what we see coming along with that. So that's kind of the basis and outline of what we're planning on doing. We're talking about even talking about sealed a little bit, since no one talks about sealed as far as I'm aware.
Some people hate sealed. I know a few people that just hate sealed because they think it's a lot of luck involved, which it kind of is, but
It's only luck involved.
oh, I mean,
if you pull
it's
if you pulled a Elspeth in Theros sealed, you're probably gonna win.
you say it's a lot of luck, but like
Tested and proven. I had all garbage and one Elspeth.
That's-
and I still won.
that's yeah. You see a lot of the same people at the top of pre-releases, so it's not
That's
100% luck,
No,
Some
there
people
is some
skill.
play, and
Some people are just so bad that they just can't,
Yeah.
they can pull the best stuff.
but usually it's because people just build bad decks with their
Right.
sealed play. They see some good cards, they see there's some good rares, and they want. So once in a while we'll probably talk about that. We might just show you a pool or talk about a pool. Just pop up on the screen sometime, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll be like, okay, here's what we would do. So with that, we'll just move on to our review of the pre-release.
Okay, so we don't break continuity. I'm going to go ahead and say for the pre-release, I had paid in advance, but was unable to attend. So they can talk, and I'll chime in when I can, but I didn't bring my pills.
so
So I was unable to play. But it's actually a good thing because I didn't pull anything worth playing with anyway.
yeah, it worked out
It was
actually.
a pretty pathetic pack.
That would have been even more impressive if you had won the whole thing, though. That would have
Packs.
Pre-release pack.
Yeah. So it's packs.
Right, it was
been. They were bad. I saw that.
this.
They
Is this the whole thing? No, it's nothing in it.
No, I took them all out already.
This. His pack.
had
Was
nothing good in it. I saw it.
Yeah, it was...
But yeah, so
All right. So yeah, we went.
we went to the same one.
So the midnight release one.
Midnight release. Yeah.
We had 26 people.
It was like 26. It was 28, then 2 drops, so it was 26.
Yeah, which you're one of.
And so that's a pretty small one compared to ones we usually go to. Usually, even at that store, it's at least 30, 35, 40, even 50 people.
in a house that only seats about 25.
Yeah, so they open the doors and they can play outside too. But
Yeah, we could go to a really small shop nearby, but that's only when we're here at home. Got school and stuff too, so.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, I played blue, and
I played black in mine. So.
yeah, and so I got extremely lucky. I pulled a bunch of blue cards with blue. Yes, the promo was awful. I didn't realize it only copied your creatures, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Like is worse than clone.
Oh yeah.
By far.
Leaps and bounds worse.
Leaps
than
and bounds are worse than clone. The blink effect, not worth it. I never did
it. It depends. I think there were some decks where it could have been good.
Maybe. But I also got lucky. I pulled a foil rare, which was a Master Predicaments, and I also pulled a Master Predicaments. So two Master Predicaments.
One which was foil.
One was foil. Resolute Archangel. What was that called? A Chasm Skulker, and that Polymorphous I never got to use. I really wanted to see a polymorph into
it's one of those that's hard to play with and sealed. You really like in Cube you play like Birthing Pod. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. It's a great card, but like I really need to build around this card to make it good, and so
you had to draft around it.
Yeah, and in a sealed pull it's really hard to do that. So.
I had tokens, so I kind of thought maybe I could use my tokens to get any creature I could grab any token.
That's true. That's true.
But I never got to use it, which is fine. You played against some and you played
What did I play?
You played Dredge.
I did. My sealed pull was really heavily toward black and green. I had Soul of Innistrad, which is my big heavy hitter, and then I had stuff like Life's Legacy to sack a dude and draw cards equal to its power. I had 2 Siege Worms, just 5/5 tramplers for 7 with Convoke. I had 2 Satyr Wayfinders, which add to the Dredge theme. 2 Restocks. I had 4 Sign and Bloods. Like it was just really good. It was like a constructed deck. It was really good.
If I'm correct, you also pulled a duplicate of your promo.
I did. I pulled another Indulgent Tormentor, which is kind of my thing. I always get 2 copies of the promo every single pre-release. I don't know why, but and it's worked.
Fortunately, he was the one that just kept handing you cards.
Right? Yeah. People just decided I'm going to let you have extra cards. I don't want to take 3 life or sack a dude, which they have like random 1/1s that do nothing, and they're like, nah, just take a card. And people don't understand how good drawing cards are.
No, yeah, I sacked a couple tokens.
Yeah, and I think black was overwhelmingly the most popular color at that pre-release.
It didn't win though.
It didn't, which is weird. Yeah, I have the habit of when I go to pre-releases, people listen to what I'm saying, and I speak really loudly, and I say, this is the best color because, and then everyone tends to like, hey, that's a good idea, let's get those colors. Like, Journey Nix was white. I picked white, and I'm like, white's the best because of this, so everyone picked white.
The promo for that one was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why. It was 2/4 Vigilance Flyer with lifelink. It's like,
did they have like heroic of some sort?
Yeah, I think we put a counter on it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is still good.
It was sort of a flashback to when we played the Dragon's Maze pre-release.
Yeah.
Because it was two-headed giant format, and we both picked Orzhov because that hits both players.
Yeah.
People heard us saying that.
Extort is doubled when you have multiple people, so that's why we.
People heard us talking beforehand, and luckily we were high enough up on the list that we got 2 Orzhov packs.
A smart person would be quiet about having really good ideas, but I tend to just blurt them out, and everyone hears me, and they're like, "That's a good idea."
And he was my teammate, of course.
So everybody picked Orzhov after we said that.
But we did win.
But we won. So so it's okay.
So you played Dredge.
Yeah.
The deck that won it chose red.
It chose red. But it was like of the 26, the only person that picked red. Apparently.
Yeah, he was the only person who picked red. And he won.
I didn't see the deck. You played against him.
It was basically the Boros champions.
Yeah, and like when you have something that good, like that works that well together, it's hard. Like there's like no removal in the sealed set.
Yeah,
there's little to no removal, so it seems like it'd be really easy to just do that. I don't know.
Yeah, the best thing he just outran us. Like most of the sealed decks, you didn't play. Okay,
yeah,
he outran me.
And probably would have outran me. So.
Yeah. There is that. I got second overall.
I got 7th.
James, you got pack.
I got a pack. Woo.
And you got.
I got a scuttling doom engine.
So and you brought me 2 pieces of pizza.
Bought me pizza.
Only 2?
Only 2. That's all that made it home.
I didn't eat any. I promise. I didn't. I didn't eat any of it. That was what was left.
I ate what was in the fridge.
Okay. So, yeah. And then
I went to another pre-release at the same store on Sunday night. There were 6 pre-releases at the store, periodically through the weekend. I went to the last one, and I picked blue. I was thinking the whole time, do I want to pick blue? I have like a half-hour drive to get there, and I read on Facebook before. Frank Lepore said blue was bad. Everyone at his shop didn't pick blue. The last pre-release, only blue packs were left, so they all had to play with blue, and they didn't want to. But the promo was so bad it wasn't worth playing, and I almost switched, and I decided to stick with it, even though I appreciate Frank, and I like what he says, and I think he's a smart guy. I picked blue anyway, and I pulled Soul of Ravnica and a Jace and New Avacyn. So I played blue-white, and then I also had some good black cards. I had a lot of removal spells in black. So
if I'm correct, all but like 3 of your creatures in that deck also had flying.
Yeah, I had a lot of flyers.
Flyers are what did it for me.
Yeah, blue-white flyers is a proven strategy in any.
Evasion is effective.
Yeah, blue-white flyers will always be good in any limited format, no matter what.
That's pretty much what I played at.
That's true. Your creatures could be the worst ever, but if they can fly, you will win, as long as you know what you're doing. And like I think that's
the card that really does it is like Illusory Angel.
Illusory Angel's good.
I don't know how many times that night I played on turn 3. Heliod's, is it Emissary or something?
Yeah.
Pilgrim.
Pilgrim, sure. Yeah.
Sure. The one fetches auras.
Yeah, that one.
Got a 1-cost aura, which is Oppressive Raise.
Okay.
So on turn 4, I played that on one of their creatures just to play it. I didn't really care about the card itself. Usually it was something decent, so I played that. And then I'd used my other 3 mana to play Illusory Angel.
Right.
And I just
I had the 2-cost 1/2 flying lifelink white guy.
Oh yeah.
I used that to get into the Angel a lot of time, or Typhoid Rats. I had those too.
Those are
but yeah, I played that pre-release, and it was really I went undefeated in games. I didn't lose any games. I won the whole thing. Got 4 whole packs because it was not a good turnout. So, but yeah, pulled decent stuff out of that. Nothing great, but Jace was pretty worth the trip, I suppose.
No.
I'm still not sure about it, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely talk about it. So, any other comments from pre-release?
Pre-release, I sincerely think I think the integrity of pre-releases is less now, because I truly believe that Wizards puts certain packs and certain cards in boxes and makes sure that like a deck is there. They don't just put 5 packs in a box. I think that they know.
Whenever we've drafted in our experience or played sealed in our experience from 3 packs or 5 packs, whatever we decided to do that day, the decks aren't there.
Yeah, this is the first time. I know that they did seeded packs before, this was the first time at a pre-release I thought I looked at my sealed pull and I said, you know, I'm gonna have to find my deck. I'm not building a deck. I'm literally just finding the cards they want me to play and playing them. Which I don't know if I'm just getting better as a
that could be
deck constructor, but like I seriously, like, if they are putting packs, certain cards and packs in boxes, I think that's really blowing the integrity. I miss the days when it's like, here's a pre-release, we're gonna open up a box, here's 6 packs, go. I think that was a lot of fun.
No, it was.
I know that they want to make it more fun for the less competitive player, someone who like they want a theme to the pre-release, and they had a lot of fun with Ravnica, and that's where they started doing that. And the Theros, they had the boxes with all 5 colors had a certain thing to it in their adventure, and now this, they said I think Mark Rosewater said in an interview that they want to have a theme, you know, storyline to every set, even if it's core set. So, I mean, that's good for them, but I don't know.
That's why we see the new Garrick.
Yeah.
I see. Interestingly enough, though, both of your boxes had a set deck.
It was there. Yeah.
But my box was all white and blue rares.
It was just bad.
But they were all terrible.
Yeah.
And you got black. You got a black.
The black pack. I had a black box, and all my rares were blue and white. Yeah. Except I did get one Painland, but it was
red white.
Red and white.
Yeah.
So there was no deck in my box.
That's true. So maybe that's discounts the whole thing.
Maybe I'm just really lucky. I don't know.
You just get the good boxes.
I got a really good box.
You gotta feel them. You gotta rub them first, and then they'll get good stuff in them. So I do that. I'm sorry.
That never works for me. Never. I try doing that. It just never works.
I'll rub your boxes next time. So.
I think it will, though. I don't know if you want me to. I want you to.
It's too late for this one.
It's too late.
It's flatlining. It's dead.
So yeah. Well, we'll now move on to some of the maybe not key cards. I said key cards, but I shouldn't say key cards. So
just interesting cards.
Yeah, cards we're excited about. Cards you think are interesting. If we don't mention a card you think is interesting, tell us.
Tell us why it's good, why you like it. You know.
Quite frankly, even cards that you're just irritated to have to play against.
There's some cards on this list that I'm just irritated that they even printed it.
Like Thragtusk, for instance.
Did we miss the new Thragtusk? You know, maybe we did.
I don't think there will ever be another Thragtusk.
No,
Thragtusk was too good.
He was the best.
He was too good. Okay. I mean, honestly, if they should have added like one more green symbol, it would have been a little bit like
if it was 3 green instead of 4 green.
Yeah,
I disagree. I'd still play.
It would still be just as good.
but it still would be. It's quite ridiculous. So we're gonna start out in WUBRG order since
it's hard to say. WUBRG
Weekly.
WUBRG Weekly.
Yeah. So starting with white, the first card I put down that I was excited to see is Raise the Alarm.
Raise the Alarms.
Like I said, I don't know if I said this earlier actually. I like white winning decks too.
Yeah.
I like aggro decks, and so Raise the Alarm was really exciting. I think it has a great theme, obviously, with Convoke. Maybe combine it with Chief Engineer. Just get tokens out to convoke artifacts. Like, let's convoke out some Scaling Doom engines really fast.
Right. I think Raise the Alarm is really just something that they added because they want Convoke to be a really good theme, and there just aren't that many token generators out there in Standard right now.
No, it's not. I mean, you have some stuff from.
I kind of wish it would have seen Standard play with Mayor of Averbrook.
Those aren't humans; they're soldiers.
They're soldiers. That's why you have the 2-cost human one, which is what's it called? Gather Townsfolk.
Yes.
That's right, Gather Townsfolk.
This is yeah. So I first saw the card in Modern in a tokens deck, in black-white tokens, which I guess is the event deck. I don't know if it's actually in the event deck.
I'm not sure.
But I feel like that's a flavor splash for those decks.
It's really good. It's really good that like end of turn you can just go Raise the Alarm and then slam down Intangible Virtue or something like Honor the Pure, and out of nowhere they're looking at end of their turn. They have nothing on the board. Then all of a sudden you have 4+ power attacking with Vigilance or whatever.
I've considered actually putting that in my white-red burn deck. Because you get creatures on board, and so creatures are going to be steadily attacking, or eventually blocking, or just taking damage from other stuff.
Right, and Trunks runs it as our friend Trunks runs a black-white tokens deck in Modern, and he actually plays that as a 4 of.
No.
Yeah, and I think it's weird. The fact that they're soldiers, I think it's going to come up as kind of a downside because people are playing Bioblight, and Elspeth is like the best card in Standard right now, and it makes soldiers, so you can Bioblight those away too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually going to come up, but
it could be a potential just devastating.
You just devastate. Yeah,
Wow.
the Zach Hill devastating. You know,
Devastating. Oh, it's just devastating.
And also, I think it's going to be good with Young Pyromancer.
Oh yeah.
If there's enough stuff to make a token deck, I think certainly you could do it.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe even. Never mind. I take back what I was about to say.
Yeah, don't say that. Whatever it was, don't say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
So, our next card is a Johnny Steadfast, which is a new Planeswalker, new white, new version of a Johnny.
Because we Wizards answered the call. all we wanted was another Johnny.
Well, they already have how many Jaces do we have now?
Five Jaces.
5 Jaces. No, now we're only on Johnny number 4.
4? Yeah. Still.
Yeah, 4.
Is it 4? No, it's 5, isn't it? No, it's 5. This is the 5th one.
Lorwyn Johnny.
This is the 5th one.
Johnny Vengeance. Johnny Call the Pride. Oh, Johnny Mentor
of Heroes. So this is the 5th of Johnny. So maybe the end of the line for Johnny. Maybe he'll die. We don't. Maybe again, or maybe he'll not show up for a while. Maybe Gideon will come back, or
maybe a new White Planeswalker.
A new White Planet. Maybe it's time.
Cool.
But this guy definitely. This card's a shout out to Super Friends.
Super Friends.
The Wizards. It looks like in the spoilers, they really want Super Friends to be a thing. And at the same time, they make Garrick that kills Planeswalkers as a plus ability. So
yeah, +1 or +2, destroy target Planeswalker.
I think it's +1, but
yeah, +1.
A Johnny seems really good in like a limited form. I played against a Johnny Steadfast in a pre-release.
Did you?
I did, and it was good for there was only one creature out there, but even with one creature +1ing and giving it special abilities, it's still good. I mean, the only time it's bad is when you have nothing else out there, and in which case don't play a Johnny.
Seems to sort of be a thing for a Johnny since the first one.
Yeah.
It's dependent on having a field presence to do anything, which is kind of my hang-up on a Johnny now.
Yeah.
Johnny's the group hug guy. He's the guy that...
Well, not as much as Jace Bellerin.
Well, I mean, group hugging his own team.
Okay.
He's not going to hug the enemy. That's ridiculous.
He's a group hugger that you actually want to kill, as opposed to Bellerin, where you just kind of want to let him sit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to let him sit, but maybe you. But I don't.
But with him, if you take him and put him in a Bant Super Friends deck with Kiora, you can ultimate Kiora really fast.
Kiora and Elspeth with their finals being just off the wall, you win the game abilities. Certainly good.
The thing I don't like about the new Johnny though is his emblem.
What is the emblem?
His emblem reads, you get an emblem with, if a source would deal damage to you or a planeswalker you control, prevent all but one of that damage. Usually, a lot of decks in Standard right now are going to have a lot of things on the board. So preventing all but one of that damage is almost going to be counterproductive for popping your Johnny.
Yeah, if you have a bunch of guys that they're all dealing 1, that's still it's obviously going to be annoying, more annoying than good. And fun to play with, maybe.
It eliminates the ultimate of Elspeth to make them all flying in 3/3s, but at the same time, they're still going to be flying 1/1s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, yeah, that's true.
That's just something that hangs. I'm hung up on that.
I don't know. I think if we're looking at a Standard with, if Verdict is going to rotate, maybe they're not going to have another Wrath spell, and maybe we're looking at a Standard that's a lot more creature-based. And so maybe it's not going to be as good because it's just going to be attacked all the time.
Yeah, it seems like they're going for a more creature-based Standard, especially with how good, which we'll talk about later, how good monsters are.
Which I think is bad actually. It makes it a different kind of Magic than it used to be. It used to be spells were way better, and then gradually the power creep made creatures better. So I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. Definitely talk about that later.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we ready to move on to the next card?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So the next card is Avacyn Guardian Angel, which is a new version of Avacyn.
Shout out to Avacyn Restored.
Yeah.
Woo.
Which just recently rotated.
Yeah.
Well, by recently, I mean I guess a year now.
Like a year. Recently.
Recently. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Kind of cool that they're putting more cards from different planes. And
yeah,
and they're not just reprinting them. They're making them new.
A lot of old favorites coming back with relatable ideas.
Yeah, like here's a worse version of a card that you loved, and you can play it in standard. You know,
if you liked Avacyn before, you're gonna hate it now.
Yeah, like old Avacyn is what, like $40. This one's probably gonna be like
Maybe.
a bulk rare, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe a buck.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Really good and limited.
It was great. It was great for me in limited. I literally did not read the abilities the entire tournament. I just played it as a 5-mana 5/4 Flying Vigilance, and that's good enough.
The thing I don't like about it, to start, the old Avacyn had just crazy ability, and it was very, very devoted to white. Now this one's only a 5-drop, but it's 3 devotion to white, and that's not splashable. Even for what it does.
Yeah.
The damage prevention, the 5/4 in the air, that's good, but I don't see it being much of a constructed threat.
That's true, but like I didn't actually think about that till now, until you said that. Like they haven't been pretty much good in the realm of like good devotion cards since Ravnica.
Devotion?
Like things that add devotion. They like the Ravnica cards were just super good for adding devotion because of like the hybrid stuff and the multicolor stuff. But like this is one of the first times we've actually seen stuff that will actually help devotion. I mean, white was has been like the worst devotion color.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 3 white devotion, and that's important.
Just the thing I don't like about it mostly, the heavy ability, the 7-cost ability, prevent all damage by everything of a color. I don't feel that, because a lot of decks right now aren't one color.
Right.
Unless you're playing mono black, which a lot of people do.
Even after Ravnica rotates, people will be playing 2 or 3 colors, because of pain lands and scry lands and all that gods and stuff.
Not to mention, currently, before rotation though, we have what? How do you say? 35 dual lands in standard.
35. Yeah. If you count the
gates.
The gates. Yeah.
The gates. Yeah. We have 35.
35 dual lands. So I mean, you could play 5 color pretty easy. I mean, you might die, but you can play.
But it's super easy to play 3 colors.
Oh yeah, I mean it's.
And 4 colors isn't outside the realm of possibility either.
And you have to think they're going to do something with dual lands in cons, maybe.
In cons, we are getting the feeling, at least in cons, it looks like they're going in multicolored direction again. Since we've had 1-color gods, now we have 2-color gods. We don't know what direction it's going to go. We're kind of hoping it's going to shoot at 3 colors because of all the dual lands, but at the same time, we're going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
We're off topic. So let's return. Yeah, we'll talk definitely.
Avacyn's it's flavor, but I mean, not really good and constructed.
It's flavor, but not good flavor.
Yeah. Next time we'll talk about some of our what do we call it? Chaos magic.
Yeah.
meaning that not like the thing before Plane Chase, but the thing like chaos theories about magic sets.
Yeah, this new Avacyn will get played as much as the old one did in standard, which is like none. So that's my theory.
Yes.
So.
All right. So the next card is Devouring Light. It's a 3-cost instant with Convoke, and it exiles target attacking or blocking creature.
Like strictly better than Celestial Flare, I would say yeah. I
would say in most cases it's definitely better than Celestial Flare because of the exile portion.
Yeah, this is a shout out to. Poster fell down. This is a shout out to the Soul Cycle. People think it's going to be a big thing. Exiling things is going to be really important.
With a lot of the indestructible gods that are still standard right now, they're going to be around for another year. Exile is going to be a very important word, especially with things that are going to make them indestructible. Say the thought of putting the Ensoul Artifact onto a Darksteel Citadel.
I really want to see that at the pre-release. It never happened.
Yeah, I didn't see like any.
We feel like it could be popular. I feel like this could be a really good answer to it. It's going to be a good White Weenies answer to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Darksteel Citadel is going to be attacking more than you've ever seen. So between Ensoul Artifact and Nissa Worldmaker, it's going to attack. It's going to attack a lot.
M15 attacking lands.
Oh yeah.
It's the next Zendikar. Maybe we can bring them back.
They're not made to do it, but they will.
Especially Darksteel Citadel.
If they have
like
that's mean.
Especially with Nissa.
Is Nissa just search for a land?
It doesn't search for a land. It makes a land at 4/4.
It makes a land to do.
Okay, but isn't that her like final ability search for lands?
It searches for. Yeah, it searches for as many lands as you want. It makes them all 4/4s.
Yeah. So let's make a Darksteel Citadel 4/4.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Devouring Light's definitely a good removal spell.
Yeah, and definitely going to be good with White Weenies. Just because it Convoke. Like, just being able to Convoke, like, okay, these guys have Vigilance.
Yeah, and it's actually better because Convoke scares me a lot, as, I like to think I'm a pretty good player, and I like to know what's coming. And Convoke scares the crap out of me because people can play things for free. People can have no mana open and still cast things.
No mana open, you can have a turn 2 raise the alarm and a turn 3 5 drop without much of a problem.
Yeah, Convoke scares me a lot. So,
Yeah.
Especially with the clause on summoning sickness.
Yeah. Casting things for free is good.
Yeah, definitely. And that's we'll talk about that card later. So next card is Hushwing Griff.
Hushwing Griff.
New Hate Bear.
New Hate Bear. Yeah, that's like it's certain. I don't think it's gonna make like any waves in standard.
It was actually my best pull at the pre-release.
Yeah, it was, which is sad. That's the best thing he had.
Oh, in his bad.
Yeah.
In my bad box, that was the best card I pulled.
Yeah, so it's a 3-cost guy flash, and enter the battlefield. He's got flying. And is it 2/1? Yeah, 2/1. His enter the battlefield effects have no.
Entering the battlefield doesn't cause abilities to trigger.
Right. So it's a torpor orb.
Yeah, it's a torpor. I'm putting a lot of stuff on sticks right now.
So he's a torpor orb that can kill you.
I hate that Melira Pod is getting more tools.
But see, I feel like this card also hates on Melira Pod.
It does, but you're seeing Melira Pods now more than ever actually not playing Melira. Melira is actually getting less and less played.
No, now it's just Pod.
Now it's just Pod with Spike Feeder Archangel Thune, which still happens with this. Like
Right.
Wizards is making more and more stuff on a stick, which makes Birthing Pod super good. I think they're trying to get it banned. I think they want to get Birthing Pod banned, and they're just making.
They're giving it good reasons.
Every set has like 5 things that like this will go good in Pod. You know, even Journey to the Next had a couple good stuff. This is going to go good in Pod.
And if Pod gets banned, then we get to change our sideboards for modern.
Then we don't need to waste 7 cards on our sideboard for Birthing Pod. So.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and but Hushwing, I heard Hushwing Griff. I don't play a lot of Legacy. I watch a little bit. Death and Taxes, I heard it's going to be good in that. I haven't seen a lot of Death and Taxes on camera, but I hear it's going to be good. This is going to be good.
No, yeah, definitely. And then Hate Bears maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Hate Bears will definitely play it against.
Hate Bears. Yeah.
They'll definitely play it against Pod probably.
If nothing else, it's a new Hippogriff in Standard. So Hippogriffs are like the coolest, besides Oof and like Luragoyf. Like the most random
creature types. Yeah.
So, yeah. Woo! Hippogriff.
And the next one is, again, these are all cards that I'm excited about, not necessarily these guys.
The Kithkin are back.
Yes, Preeminent Captain.
Preeminent Captain.
He is a 3-cost 2/2.
2/2. Yeah.
Yeah, 2/2 with first strike, and when he attacks, you put a soldier card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking.
The repercussions of this. This card, I did some testing online on Cockatrice before the set was actually like released. Yeah, before it was even pre-released, and someone played a soldier deck with this card, and they slammed down. They had a bunch of soldiers, and they slammed down Foundry Champion with this card, which it deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to a target player or creature. Ooh. So it was like 10 damage on the spot, and it was attacking for like 4, I guess. Yeah, this thing is just nasty if you get the right deck. I think the soldier deck is easily possible.
Definitely. I remember someone telling me when they saw this card, they're like, I really wish Captain the Watch was still in play. Was still in Standard.
Captain the Watch was never a huge deal, but like stuff like this, that seems pretty good.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna attack with this 3-cost and slam a 6-cost on the field that gives all my soldiers bigger and gives me 2 or 3 tokens.
Yeah, 3 2/2 vigilance tokens.
Cards that can make bad cards good.
This has 3 1/1.
Yeah, 1/1s, but they get +1/+1 vigilance because of the knight. Yeah.
Because he's a.
And if nothing else, the guy cheat out a soldier of Pantheon. Why not? Still good.
Yeah.
Just still good. The only time it's bad is if you have nothing in hand, and that's playing weenies. You're gonna have stuff. So. Hopefully.
So this next card I'm super excited about. I don't know what exactly it's going to go in. I feel like it could go in like a black-white, some sort of human deck with Zathram Necromancer.
Cartel Aristocrat.
And Ethereos. It's Return to the Ranks.
Return to the Ranks.
It's 2 white X with Convoke. And you return X target creatures from your graveyard with converted mana cost 2 or less.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's all right.
Just all right. I think it's...
Yeah, I actually pulled one of those
I might trade
the other day.
you for it.
It seems all right. It's one of those things that you really need to think about what kind of deck you want to play it in.
No, it's definitely something you have to build a deck around, kind of.
It's another card that can go in the Sliver deck, maybe. It can go in like that same soldier deck that plays Preeminent Captain can play this thing.
Yeah.
Like Weenies. More I think Craig Wesco was foaming at the mouth when he saw this, but
I feel like I really prefer Immortal Servitude over this.
Yeah,
Just distinctly prefer Immortal Servitude.
Yeah, I think that can get you back some big, like one thing that's really big and has Convoke as well, so you could pretty much...
Because there was the Junk Servitude deck for a brief period when there were two core sets standard.
Right. Stranglergeist and
Servitude
Voice and
you play it
Blood
for
Artist.
2.
Yeah.
Everything is a 2-drop that you want to die.
Yeah.
I was thinking the wrong card.
Yeah, this is definitely like you're gonna have to find something to play with this. But Blind Obedience, not Blind Obedience. What did you say? What was
Immortal Servitude.
I don't know why I thought, but Immortal Servitude was a card that like I think a lot of people were thinking the same things that we're thinking about this. Like, what's this really gonna do? But then someone kind of just broke it,
And that's what.
But this thing has got this one has Convoke.
It does have Convoke, but if all your guys are dead, what are you gonna Convoke with? Is the question. How good is it gonna be?
That's fair.
It's like,
well,
I don't know.
you're gonna be playing definitely a creature heavy deck.
Yeah.
And hopefully even if you can just like you have a card slot or spread out, and then you sack a bunch of stuff. But maybe you tap it for mana.
It's another hate card for Verdict, which is exactly what we needed. I like Verdict. I wish they didn't.
I think the catch-all for me with this is you still have to swing through things like Stormbreath Dragon. It's going to be in a white deck, and Stormbreath Dragon's pro-white anyway.
Because Dragon's a thing, so...
But you have all the monsters that are just going to be gigantic, and in Dredge, everything's gigantic anyway, so how good is
I guess I'm looking at some sort of combo deck with, like I said, it's got Necromancer and Ephraim's.
Yeah, print something that's super good, that's 2 mana cost or less, and then we'll talk about it, I don't know.
Okay. Oh, anyways. Next card, our first of the Soul Cycle. Soul of Theros.
Soul of Theros
is all the souls are 6 cost 6/6s, with what 2 other color and 4.
It's different depending on which ones they like, how much the abilities cost, but it's always 2 of the color, 2 abilities, and then 2 of a color, and then something to do something crazy, and it's the same ability just on the battlefield as exiling and doing the same thing. So this one, the ability is I believe it's pay 6. It's either 6 or 7. And you give your guys +2/+2 first strike and lifelink, and it already has vigilance. So
it's a pay 6.
It pays 6. So you're gonna be able to play the ability anyway. This is the card. I don't know what it's gonna go in. I think it's certainly a Reanimator target, but that's usually where I go anyway with any card like that. I love playing Reanimator. So first thing I think of is I'm gonna cheat this out turn 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still good. It reminds me of Sun Titan just because it has vigilance. It's 6/6 for 6.
I also just think that, it's like you were saying that one time. It's pay 6. You turn your own creature. You turn him into an 8/8 with first strike and life.
It's not even bad on its own. It's still good. It's great on its own. You could have nothing else. And the more stuff you have while you have it, it's even better. Even like an Ornithopter. Now your Ornithopter's a 2/4 first strike, lifelink, flying. Whatever.
It becomes the chariot guy.
Yeah, the Dawnbringer Chariot.
Yeah, it becomes a Dawnbringer Chariot.
Charioteer. I think is what it is. Charioteer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's good, and I think it's probably, aside from Planeswalkers, I think it's probably the best limited card in M15.
I think it takes a big turn though, because when the Titans were in Standard, just arguably, of course, but the worst Titan in most people's eyes was the White Titan.
So some people,
I disagree, but
in a lot of people's eyes, in constructed play, the worst Titan was white.
I think it was played the least. I think it was played.
Do you think it was actually played least than Frost Titan?
Yeah, I think Frost Titan was played more. Yeah,
there was a role reversal. Well, I'm fond of Frost Titan because he was the only good card I pulled in that $20 toolkit the first time I ever played.
Yeah.
You were really excited about that too.
He was the only mythic I ever had at that point. But Soul of Theros, I feel like they took a little bit of a role reversal in my eyes with the Titans and the Souls, because the white one is actually playable now to me.
Probably the most playable.
At least in Standard.
Sure. I feel like he's the most playable in Standard.
Maybe.
Whereas Sun Titan was the least playable in Standard, I think.
Sun Titan you had to build around. This one you really don't. You can just kind of play it.
Right, you can just kind of throw it in the deck and it'll do things.
I'm not quite sure what deck you'd be played in.
Which one?
The Soul. Like what's
this Soul? I like it Reanimator, honestly. I think Junk Reanimator, you can get that thing out really
in fast. Reanimator, you could even throw it into a control, not as an Aetherling or anything, because it can't protect itself. But you could always, at that point in the game, if you're going to play this in a control deck, it has the life that you need back, and you can still leave a counterspell open every turn, giving it life.
And you still have a blocker.
Attempting to hit for 6. you're going to keep gaining 8 life back every turn, and you have at least enough to keep a counterspell open in most control decks.
It seems like it's going to be good if you play a lot of mana ramps creatures, because then it'll make them enormous. You know, I think this is the card that you want more creatures to make it better, but then the more creatures, it seems like the curve has to be lower. So the answer to that would be play mana ramping creatures, play green-white, and just get it out really fast, and then just plow them over.
Right.
It's sort of a less effective Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, if you can pay 6 and like if you pump your team by like 10, that's pretty good. That's 20 point swing by paying 6 is pretty good. If you have 5 creatures on the board, paying 6, dealing 10 extra damage, it's pretty good.
There's really no debate to that, but I think my vote, it's the best soul for at least limited.
Yeah, I think it's better than some planeswalkers. I would take it over Jace.
I would take it over
Jace
limited for sure.
Top
I'm
5.
not sure if I take it over Nisa.
No, I think this might be the best
Yeah.
card for limited in the entire set.
But I haven't played that yet. So
There was a guy at that pre-release that pulled one and didn't play it.
Yeah, he was right across the table from me. Did not play it.
Why didn't you play it?
I don't know. I told him, why don't you play this? Look at it, and then he's like, oh, it stays a 4/4.
Yeah.
It doesn't just become a 4/4 in a turn. It's always a 4/4.
Right. So shout out to that guy.
And in a set with no removal, having 4/4s every turn.
Yeah. We actually helped quite a few people with our.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't play against him. I'm just a nice guy.
After we beat some people, so certain people after we beat them or knew we were gonna play against them, like, okay.
The girl I played against first.
Yeah.
She had an awful deck, and we tried to help her out.
I think she did better after that.
I think she did. I hope
and so did, and our another guy we was like, okay, dude, you need to put this in and this in and this in and keep these cards out.
Yeah. So
shout out to Anson.
Anson. He said he's gonna watch. So.
Anson, you're bad. We're trying to help you.
All right. So next card.
The last white card on our list is Spirit Bonds.
Do you mean to tell you what it does?
Of course, it's
I know what it does. Yeah.
Okay. 2-cost enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 white, and if you do, you get a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Then, as an ability, you can pay 2, sacrifice a spirit, and target non-spirit creature gains indestructible until end turn.
Now you missed a key point here.
Did I
Whenever
miss
a creature enters the battlefield under your control.
That's
Under your control is a really important portion of this.
Yeah, it's so the flavor point of it is you have a spirit protecting you, like a guardian angel
You're
kind of
pretty
thing.
much throwing out a guardian angel.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, so you're bonding with the spirit, and the spirit saves you from dying. So that's.
Yeah, this was a card designed by. I think this is the first card we looked at that's been designed by someone else.
I thought Abson was. Maybe it wasn't.
This sort of kind of plays into what we were talking about with instead of Celestial Flare, Exile instead of Destroy.
Yeah, it's
this
more.
Where it would come in a lot more handy.
More indestructible stuff. Indestructible's a huge deal. I played against 2 of these actually in the second pre-release, and it's good. It mucks up the board pretty much. Like it's hard to deal with. I mean, it's another hate for Spring Verdict, and that's why I was like, why would you do that? Stop doing it. But yeah, it makes weenies better, I guess. I don't know what.
I'm not sure.
I don't know what deck it's gonna go in. It's a sideboard for like a black deck, maybe, for like a white deck against a black deck. I would say.
Because it's got too much kill spells.
Yeah.
In black.
If you want to have some protection, God's Willing isn't enough, or Johnny's Presence isn't enough, then play this too. It'll probably make a bigger splash.
It's kind of adding insult to injury, really.
Yeah. But adding more creatures for nothing. If you have a bunch of mana and dudes to play, why not? Yeah.
Right.
Limited. Yeah.
So on to blue.
Blue. Our next card is Illusory Angel. I don't know why I added this. I made the list.
Illusory Angel. It's to put it quickly. It's it's interesting, but it's gonna be hard to play.
It's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be played in any sort of standard.
It'll be played as much as Sarah Avenger was.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
if you have an Aether Vial, then you can just put out a 4/4 on turn 3. Why not?
It's also a very dangerous limited card.
Oh, it's super dangerous.
It can be. It can be.
Like it's. Did I get that to tell them about the Heliod's image?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It wins games. It's a 4/4 flyer for 3. Just
in a format that has very, very little removal.
Yeah.
It's a 4/4 flyer for 3, but what makes that good if it was just a 4/4 flyer for 3 is that you could play it on turn 3, but you can't play it on turn 3 unless you have like an Ornithopter or something.
Which you
can do, but like it's going to be unless you have a 0 drop, you're going to play it on turn 4 later, and that's that's fine and all. But
I understand. I was able to consistently get it out on turn 4.
if it had another ability, I would play it. If it was like
I played
Island Walk or something,
I
don't know. Maybe you do.
That's fair. That's fair.
If it's something else, maybe I play it.
All right. The next card is Military Intelligence.
Mhm.
It's a 2-cost common, and when you attack with 2
or more creatures,
you draw a card.
Yep.
Definitely good in Azorius Weenies.
It's so against what blue is as a color.
It's forcing blue to play creatures.
Which blue's kind of doing now. Think about it, mono blue is kind of
Mono blue is pretty much all creatures.
I mean, you put that in instead of maybe Timebinder Mage, so you can get more cards.
I think Timebinder Mages. I think you need to keep those in there.
But isn't Timebinder Mage getting rotated?
Oh yeah, when it rotates, yeah. But for the time being. But mono blue isn't going to be a thing. Mono blue, that deck isn't going to exist anymore.
But it's definitely something that card's something to think about, though. I think
it's almost forcing you to play blue-white or blue in another color.
It's certainly a white card.
It's definitely a white card.
Blue.
If you throw it in with an Elspeth, you're just going to be drawing a numerous number of cards.
That's true.
Which is also a very possible thing, because when you see an Elspeth, sometimes it's going to have a lot of blue.
Yeah, no.
The deck's going to have.
And maybe it's like. I mean, it's not as good, obviously nowhere near as good as Revelation, but maybe a possible. Maybe a replacement for Revelation?
I don't think there will be a Revelation replacement.
No, in a control deck, I don't think it's even... Yes, you're going to eventually... You might get some advantage, but it'll just sit there in your hand on turn 1 or 2. It's like,
you're right. I'm a dummy.
I don't know.
But it definitely has potential, I think.
Yeah. It does, but it needs something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what Cons brings.
Yeah.
Next card, Chasm Skulker.
Chasm Skulker.
This card...
This one's interesting.
Yeah, this card did wonders to me. It's a 3-cost. Whenever you draw a card, you put +1/+1 counter on it, and when it dies, you put X 1/1
blue squids.
Yeah, blue squids, which with Ion Lock onto the battlefield for how many +1/+1 counters were on Chasm Skulker.
It's another thing that's like, exile this, don't kill it.
Yeah.
It's more like so many things that they're adding. It's just like you need to exile these things.
Yeah. So stock up on your Banishing Lights.
Another hate card for Verdict. I'm just saying that's all they're doing now.
It kind of makes you miss Pillar of Flame.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I did during the pre-release, I pulled one of these pre-release. I would just play that, and then next turn I'd play Divination. So it was a 4/4 the next turn.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
And it never died during pre-release. If you pull this card during a limited format, play it.
It's pretty
really
much
good.
nothing short of an early Lightning Strike or a straight-up kill spell is going to get rid of it.
Yeah,
I played this one and I just killed it. I just immediately killed it. So, I mean, that was my answer to it. I think I did a Raise the Alarm. Instant speed just blocked the 2 guys as soon as it attacked for 2. So, I was like, fine, you get a squid. I don't care. I have Avison. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's good. I don't know what it's going to go in. I honestly don't know. It seems like you're going to want to draw cards, but if you're drawing cards, are you playing creatures? I mean, maybe that's what we're heading toward.
Yeah, a lot of creature decks, though, they need something to draw cards with. I mean, a lot of creature decks, they run out, they put a lot of creatures on the field, they attack them, they get blocked, they get chump blocked, they reach bigger creatures, and then their hand runs out of stuff.
I feel like this card in Biden the Thasser buddies. I feel like that.
No, yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be good.
Yeah.
Wombo combo.
Well, I mean, even if you throw in Sphinx's Revelation.
Why not? Just while you can. Play it.
Instant speed of Sphinx's Revelation, make it bigger.
Yeah,
swing for 2.
Sphinx's.
Revelation for 6.
It's odd because
in response to them killing it with a Doomblade.
Right.
It's like squids. No, but as a player, I'm always looking for cards that immediately make a difference on the field, and this one doesn't, and that's why I don't like it. So, I mean, I can see the upside, but I like things that are just good right now.
These are one of the cards I like taking certain cards and breaking them. Like I tried breaking Shape Anew as much as I could.
You did the best you could. Yeah.
And so this card and the next card we're talking about are the 2 cards I really want to break somehow.
I think we're all on the same page with the next one. So we'll move on to that. Chief Engineer.
Chief Engineer.
Chief Engineer.
A blue, 1 and a blue, 2 cost, 1/3 artifact spells you cast have convoke.
Whew. Yeah. I heard a lot of people. Affinity is something in Modern, something that a lot of people play where I play. at school.
It tends to be a big thing everywhere, even though it never makes top 8.
It does. It's actually the most popular aggro deck in Modern. Which
I don't see tournaments where it gets top 8.
Isn't really saying a lot, but
I saw a few. The last PTQ
they're out
I saw
there.
a few.
They're out there.
Okay.
Affinity's good. It's won some PTQs recently.
Yeah.
So, this one it's good in Modern. We know that.
Sure.
You can cheat out. It does the same thing that Springleaf Drum does for them, kind of, but like even better than that.
Yeah, because
like a Mox Opal kind of thing. Like it's getting more stuff out faster. If you're playing Affinity in Modern, you want as many things turn 1 as possible. And
in Affinity and Modern, you can get this out turn 2 and have you have like your Mennonites, your Ornithopters, and you just go, all right, I'm just gonna tap these and play even a bigger one.
Yeah, you could turn 1. You could turn 1 this thing, no problem.
And he plays something huge.
In Affinity.
A potential turn 2 worm coil engine.
That makes for 2, yeah.
Not in Affinity, but I mean you could.
Not in Affinity, but you could.
And you could slam down Etch Champion is really good heavy hitter, or put out a cranial plating and equip it turn 1, and then like a Vault Scourge with a cranial plating on turn 1. So this is like an 8-1 turn 1. Go ahead. Next turn I'm hitting you for at least 10.
Seems really good.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Like, they already had this, but this is another way to make it even better.
Yeah.
In Standard though, we have stuff like Ornithopter that really helped this make it more playable. I think artifacts need to make a comeback. I'd said a while back that there are no good artifacts in Standard before M15 at least. There were no good artifacts. The best artifact that wasn't already an enchantment is Godsend, but no one played Godsend.
No.
So I was playing Revoke Existence, and I was like, why don't I just play Deicide? It's better. It doesn't see artifacts, but there's no artifacts that aren't enchantments that I care about.
Yeah, and so, with this card, it's important to note though that this wasn't one of the cards that was designed by an outside player. And so it seems like, we talk about maybe Wizard is going to do something with artifacts in the next set, which doesn't seem like it. Like, I mean, looking at the set, looking at the plane.
This is one of my theories. I think we talked about it. Maybe I didn't talk about it with you, but I feel like we could see Tezzeret in the next block. And Tezzeret is about artifacts and maybe some artifacts.
Yeah.
I think it's, if you think about Starcon is in Khans of Tarkir. Sarkon is under Nico Bolas' spell, and who else is under his spell? Tezzeret. So I mean, like, we could see Tezzeret and artifacts certainly could make a comeback.
And I've been hoping for Tezzeret for about 2 years now. I was hoping he'd come back as a zombie or something in Innistrad block, but
he already is a zombie. I mean,
right. That's why I wanted him in Innistrad.
Super zombie, robot zombie Jedi.
But I mean, this guy seems like he could be played. I mean, when I first saw him, I was like, okay, there's like not really many good artifacts, but like Soul of Phyrexia, which we'll talk about later, and Scaling Doom Engine.
Yeah.
Okay, those 2 are really good
Scaling Doom
artifacts.
But they're no Worm Coil Engine.
Yeah, no Worm Coil Engine. No. But then I realized that you could convoke for the weapons. So we could convoke for Biden Thassa with maybe Chasm Sculptor. Yeah. You can use your tokens from what's it called?
Razorn?
No, not right. Oh, yeah, Razorn. But I was thinking more of Master of Waves.
Yeah, Master Waves tokens.
Let's play a Master Waves. Yeah. Tap those for tokens and play a Biden, and then next turn just swing in and draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
I mean, they have some instantness, so just use them for a Biden.
Yeah, just play a Biden, or if you want to slam down something big, an artifact spell.
Yeah.
If you want to play Doom Engine, or if you want to play Obelisk of Urd is another one.
Yeah, which you make all your...
It already has Convoke, but I mean...
Yes, that's true.
I mean, that's...
The thing that scares me with this is you could easily throw in, you could say, Darksteel Forge.
No, yeah.
It becomes a much more feasible thing in an Affinity deck now, because
also,
now you have a way to cheat it out really quick.
Yep.
So you could have a turn 2, turn 3 Darksteel Forge.
Also, Hall of Fame for the blue mono blue decks.
Of Triumph?
Oh, that's it. Hall of Triumph.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Triumph. I was like, what is Hall of Fame?
Hall of Triumph. It's an artifact, right? And so it's only 3 cost, and you choose a creature type.
You choose a color.
Color.
Yeah.
Even better. So you choose a color, and you say blue, and all your tokens now will survive.
People have been playing that in blue decks for a little while.
And so that kind of Chief Engineer only can make that better.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't really a problem. I guess blue is the kind of deck that if it curves out, you already kind of win no matter what.
Yeah.
But I mean, adding another thing to that,
In my opinion, the most exciting thing about Chief Engineer is throwing in a Darksteel Forge into an Affinity deck. That saves you from Wrath. There's nothing they can do at that point.
Except for Exile.
And, you know,
Path to Exile is your biggest threat.
My favorite card in Standard is Trading Post. Maybe Trading Post will be played. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I love Trading Post.
We think he's crazy.
It's an artifact planeswalker.
Oh, no, he does.
It has 4 abilities.
He usually does.
It has more abilities than any planeswalker in Standard aside from Garrick. So, I mean, just... It does stuff. Is utility...
Well, technically, Garrick's not turned yet.
Well, you know...
Maybe by the time they see this video, it will be.
Friday night, it'll be Standard.
Yeah. All right, so the next card, where are we?
Our next card will be Jace, the Living Guild Pact.
This is Jace number 5.
Jace number 5. He's a 4-cost with 5 loyalty, 2 and 2 blue. His +1, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your graveyard. His -3 ability is return another target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And his -8 ultimate ability, each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into their library. You draw 7 cards.
Oh, I didn't notice this. You draw.
You draw 7 cards.
Oh, wow.
Meaning they have nothing, you have 7.
AKA the reason to play this card. You know, the only reason to play.
The only Jace that I can see the ultimate being the reason I would want to play it.
And it's not like it's too far away. It's +3 3 times.
Unless you have a Johnny.
If you have a Johnny, which, you know, blue and white, or, you know...
And in other formats, Proliferate also helps.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... It's I guess, you know, you could Proliferate, but...
I see this card working very well in Modern because of Snapcaster.
There was some talk in Legacy about even, like, some decks replacing Mind Sculptor with this. And I don't really see that necessarily, but, I mean... I don't see it. I wondered why they said it.
I don't believe there will be a replacement for Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Mind Sculptor's broken. We may be missing something huge, but to me this looks like Jace the nerfed. I feel like they just nerfed it so hard that it's like Jace is too good, but people want Jace, so we'll give him one, but it's going to be super bad.
Do you notice the -3 is target non-land permanent, which means it does hit
other planeswalkers? That's true.
So
I used that ability when I had it, Johnny.
Which is also exciting. But the thing that has me excited is the ultimate ability, because, quite frankly, I like having cards, and I like you not having cards.
Being in control is my favorite thing.
I guess the point about that, though, is like we always talk about Jaces not being able to protect themselves. Like, the best one was Arctic Thought with -1 myself.
Didn't they all actually kind of do that, except for Balerin? Didn't they all actually protect themselves in some way?
Did Mind Sculptor bounce?
Yeah. Mind Sculptor bounced. Yeah.
Okay.
-1 bounce.
Memory Diff did not, because it was +1 draw card and they mill
right.
0,
that one
mill 10, and then
in constructed format, I feel like this one will actually see more play in main decks than Memory Adept did. But
yeah, definitely.
Memory Adept is like the best sideboard Jace for sure.
For sure.
But this one, I feel like is the 4th best.
4th best.
4th best for main board, maybe 5th best total. We'll say.
You mean worst?
Yeah. So we'll say Mind Sculptor's the best, and then we'll say Balerin, then Architect, and then this one, and then Memory Adept for main boards.
I do honestly think that it's supposed to be for Modern, though. I mean,
for what?
For control decks, though. I mean, I think it's still good for playing the decks that would play Mind Sculptor.
It certainly helps Snapcaster for sure, adding things to graveyards. But I don't know. I don't,
because people have been talking about how they think that they could actually unban Mind Sculptor and it would still be okay. Like, it would be okay in Modern. And I have a feeling that Wizards just doesn't want to do that. So especially since they just printed it in from the Vault 20.
Yeah.
And right now those are like what, 150. That's just going to jack the prices up.
I don't think they're that. I think they're about 100.
I think about 100 to 115 is about where you see Mind Sculptor.
Well, I meant in the whole sealed, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so I can see what it's saying. Okay, let's do something that will affect the game. That will see some more play maybe in Modern, especially with the graveyard thing with Snapcaster. And this way we don't have to unban Mind Sculptor.
I think that Modern control decks already have the things they need. They have their 4-drop Planeswalker in a Johnny Vengeance. I feel like that's good enough. I don't think they really needed anything like that. But I don't. Maybe someone will try it. I don't know.
I think someone's gonna try it.
It's definitely gonna see some play in Standard, but a lot less than every other Jace did.
All right.
That's what I think.
All right.
Brings us to our next point, Jalira, Master Polymorphist.
Yay, Polymorphist.
Polymorph is one of my favorite Magic words.
Which my first initial thoughts when I see this card is I'm distracted by the fact that they're turning a bunny rabbit into an alligator.
How does an alligator into a bunny rabbit?
Well, see, the bunny rabbit.
Snap!
No, you're Snap. It is a Master Polymorphist. That's a 4-drop, 2/2, 3 and 1 blue. It's a legendary creature, human wizard. You pay 2 and a blue, tap it, sacrifice another creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card.
Non-legendary.
Non-legendary. Put that card onto the battlefield, and the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yeah. So, the non-legendary meaning you can't just cheat out a Gristlebrand or something like in an Eternal format.
But
I did see a deck with this as the centerpiece, and it involved having all legendaries like Brimaz and just like other stuff like that.
And something dirty.
And World Spineworm. So here's what you do with this. You play all legendaries and World Spineworm. So then you stack literally anything you have. You always hit World Spineworm. And then next turn you can swing 15. And then sack it again. You'll have 15 power still on the board. It'll go back in random order, and you'll hit another World Spineworm anyway.
Right,
you'll always have a World Spineworm.
Because the sack is a cost, and so it shuffles back into your deck. And then before the trigger resolves.
Yeah, it shuffles back from its own abilities, so you only have one. If you only have one, that's fine.
Yeah,
if you have more than one, that's still fine. But having
another reason why exile is important.
Exiling is good. When this dies, just don't do that. Just don't kill it. Don't. Let it sit or exile it, and letting it sit is a bad thing when it's 15 trample.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be in a very specific deck, and so it's not gonna be like extremely good. But I can see people trying to. I'm surprised I don't want to break this card. It sounds like the kind of card
it's
I want to break.
It's a card where if you see it, you need to be prepared for something like World Spineworm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something dirty is gonna happen unless you're playing against someone that just has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. When you throw in the word polymorph, the first instinct is I want to break this card. So, mass polymorph out. Oh, here's 3 Blake Steels and an Urbrask. That's what I did, but it was fun. It was a good time.
Sure it was.
Yep.
Our next card's one that I hear you're very fond of.
I just did really well with it. Master Predicaments. I believe this was a design card. It's a 5-cost. It's 3 2 blue. It's a 4/4 flying, and when you do combat damage to a player, you choose a card from your hand, and they guess. You ask them basically, is it equal to or greater than 4?
Converted mana cost.
Converted mana cost. And if they're wrong, you get to play it for free.
Right.
So always pick greater.
Always pick greater, so they don't cheat even enormous out. It's worth it,
Unless you know what their hand is. If you know what their hand is, then you can probably guess.
I wasn't there, of course, but I heard stories about this guy right here being able to play things that were gigantic because people were saying less than.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah, because there's not a whole lot that's greater than 4, but I won a game. I was playing against a red deck. I was doing a whole bunch of damage. I think it sounds like 7.
Was it Resolute Archangel?
Yeah, Resolute
Archangel.
Resolute Archangel came. I left total back to 20, and I still got put down to 8 before I won.
Is this a Sphinx?
It is a Sphinx.
It's a Sphinx.
I feel like this is an interesting card. It won't see any play in Constructed.
No, never.
It'll be as playable as Sphinx of Bethune was, and that no one remembers what that is, so we're okay.
I still don't remember that.
Yeah, it's like Master of Predicaments. How could it not be a Sphinx?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this is definitely a
Sphinx.
Sphinx.
It's clearly a Sphinx card.
Sphinxes are like never playable.
Never. They're always rare. It's never playable.
Yeah, they're like dragons. There's maybe like one every once in a while that's playable.
I mean, even I can't remember the name of the Zorius guild leader, and she's a Sphinx.
Yeah.
What was her name again?
I should know this.
See, that's how much we care about Sphinxes.
I can see the picture in my head.
Isperia.
The only thing that Sphinx related that is good is Sphinx's Revelation.
Yep. And that's not a Sphinx.
That's not a Sphinx.
So there you go. Sphinx equals bad.
Okay, so since we're so adamantly against Sphinxes, next one on our list is Soul of Ravnica.
So our blue.
Again, another one of the replacement Titans.
Which is kind of like a Sphinx, but not.
Which is,
so it's playable.
A 6 cost with 2 of its respective color, 6/6.
With flying?
With flying.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
one has
gosh.
evasion.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Which is already pretty effective as far as sealed's concerned. But its abilities pay 5 and 2 blue, so 7 total. Draw a card for each color among permanents you control. And its second ability, exile it from a graveyard, and do the same. In Constructed, you got to play with this.
In Limited.
In Limited,
yeah, in Limited. Yeah,
and Sealed.
Yeah, the fact that it has flying. It's like I opened this up and I was like, good enough. You know, like people said it's the worst soul, and I don't really think so. I think people always say that drawing cards, people don't appreciate how good drawing cards is.
And even beyond that, minus the drawing ability, any of the abilities on them, if you take away their abilities of all the souls, this one's the best because it's a flyer.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Especially in Limited. If you have a 6-cost 6/6, it's only 2 devotion or 2 specific to its color. And it's
you can easily splash.
Yeah, I played 3 colors and I was able to cast it every time I had it.
It's easy enough to splash, and it's still 6 in the air. And a lot of decks aren't even, if they can even block it, their creature's going to die.
I would draft it certainly. Like
no, I would first pick that.
If it was pack 3 and I was playing like red green, I would still pick it because I don't want anyone else to have it.
Oh yeah.
I hate draft it.
Hate draft it.
So that one, I don't see much play outside of Limited or Cube play.
I think it could see play in some crazy 4 or 5 color Planeswalker deck as like the only creature, like once Aetherling is gone. Like so if you're playing 5 color Planeswalkers because you can, and then you're like, I'll pay 7 and draw 5 cards.
That seems good.
It's like that's really good. It's not a replacement for Sphinx's Wrath by any means, but like having it out, it's a blocker.
And it's recurable.
It's recurable, and that's also important that. Yes, paying 7 to draw, 1, 2, 3 cards probably. It doesn't seem good, but if you can do it every turn, it's really good. Yeah.
And let's say you're out cards, and so the end of their turn.
That's what I did with it. It was just like I was always a step ahead of my opponent because I had the Soul Ravnica,
So the next card on our list technically wasn't, according to these guys, wasn't printed in the set.
I think it's one of the ones. Yeah. So the set is 269 cards.
269.
And there's 30 or so cards that are in the set, but not in the set.
Yeah, it's 275.
If you look them up, they actually read over the number, so 275 over 269.
Right, which means you're not going to pull them in booster packs.
Thank
goodness, because they're bad. Like
this card's awful.
Mahamoti Jin is the card we're talking about, and we're talking about it because we're upset about it. Mahamoti Jin,
and he is a vanilla creature. He is strictly worse than the Soul of Ravnica that we just talked about. He is also a 6-cost, and he can fly, but he is a 5/6
with no abilities.
Which is fine. Which is fine for like a limited.
In a limited format,
I don't want to pull this.
That's fine. But I'd be upset if I pulled it, and thank goodness they took those out of booster packs. I'd be upset.
I would be totally upset. I remember. I think it was like I don't remember what other core set it was in. And I pulled it. I was like. I was just. Do
you remember your first Pixels of the Pandemonium? The first one you pulled? It's like, I'm upset. This is my rare. This sucks. Yeah. It's so bad.
This is worse. True. I'd rather have a Pixels of Pandemonium.
No, I wouldn't say that's pretty rough. But
I'd rather have the Mahamoti Jin.
That's true. Nothing is worse than that card. Wizards, you messed up.
All right. So
okay.
that's
the end of our blue. Now we're moving into black. The first card on our black list is Stab Wound.
Okay, these guys don't get it. I'm excited about this card.
I get it. I just don't love it. Was it a common?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm only excited about it for limited format. You actually found a Stab Wound. Don't search Stab Wound on images.
We're Google searching the cards and you search Stab Wound. Found an actual Stab Wound in Google Images. Well done.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Make sure if you're searching for cards, you put MTG before
every card because
there's some things that you'll find that it's just like
you don't want to see that.
So I just think it can kill creatures for 3. It can also just drain your opponent's life. Hey, take 2. Hey,
it's an annoyance.
Hey, take 2.
The ideal situation would be like if they have like a 2/3, so it's like a 0/1 and it just drains them every turn.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's the situation. Stab Wound was good. It was one of the best commons in Return Ravnica, if I remember correctly.
And for limited.
In limited. Yeah, it's never been a constructed thing, and it's never going to be.
My option with this, though, if you wanted to play it constructed, and only if you wanted to play it constructed, it could be a potential answer to a Courser of Crufix.
Certainly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a very popular card, and it could be a black sideboard for Courser of Crufix. Who knows?
That's not bad.
That's about the only thing I can think of to even do with it in constructed.
Yeah.
Other than just being a little annoyance.
I saw it in
I'd rather just kill a Griffix though.
Could even just put it on a Boros Reckoner and let the Reckoner hit you for 1 every turn.
Good enough.
Yeah.
The hardest part about it is like once you stab wound a guy, you don't want to hurt him. You know, you don't want to kill him. It's like I'm just gonna try to avoid him. You know.
So you played a stab wound on that girl's creature.
I played a stab wound. Yeah, that was pretty rough. I played it against a stab wound. A guy actually fetched it with the Helios Pilgrim, and stab wounded my guy. Which, yeah.
But it's like so you swing in with it anyways. Like, I don't care. Swing in. You gonna kill it? You kill it? Come on, you gonna kill it, right?
I eventually just gave up and I swung into it thinking maybe she won't realize that the guy she saw it. So it's hard. It's something you have to dance around for a while until it's good enough.
So it brings us to our second card on our blacklist, Ulcerate.
Ulcerate. Another wonderful image given to us by Wizards.
Another
like brain maggot, you know, things I want to think about.
Make sure you add MTG at the end of that one.
You don't look for. I don't think ulcerate's actually a word.
Yeah, you get ulcer.
I know ulcer's a word, but I don't know if ulcerate actually is. But
it's gotta be a word.
It's definitely a word.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a 1-cost instant.
1-cost instant. Target creature gets -3/-3 until the end of the turn. You lose 3 life.
Yeah.
So 3 life kind of sucks.
It does.
But at the same time, if you play any modern format, you know for a fact going to like 9 on turn 2 is no issue.
Nope.
It's true.
Your life total, it's more important to be above 0 than it is to be at 20.
It's odd to say that a card that deals 3 to yourself is a good sideboard for a black deck against a red one, but I think it is. I think it's something that's really what it's for. It's not. It's no Tragic Slip by any means.
No.
I miss Tragic Slip a lot.
It won't get rid of, say, Frostburn Weird. But at the same
it
time,
might. It is instant speed.
If they don't pump their
they can't
Frostburn Weird, it's definitely not. It's not an Aetherling. They can't go backwards with it. That's about the only thing I can even think of in a red deck that it wouldn't be able to deal with.
It's another black removal spell that we needed now that they're not getting Doomblade back. Doomblade's gonna go away. We're losing Ultimate Price. Yeah, we need some more.
Devouring Flesh.
Devouring Flesh.
Yeah. So black
far away.
Yeah,
far away is going.
I mean, black needs some removal, and this is certainly. I don't know why they didn't print Doomblade. I think that was
maybe saving for.
They're still gonna. I think we're gonna see a lot of Bioblight and Drown in Sorrow.
That's true.
Ulcerate.
And we still have our Hero's Downfall. Actually, now we have like 3
card removals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all at least 2 Devotion Blight.
So that's also right.
Yeah.
So that brings us to our next card on our blacklist. That's going to be Endless Obedience.
Yeah. So this one is the key card for Colin's new deck.
Endless Obedience, man. It's no Unburial Rights, but it's more playable than Rise from the Grave, but less playable than Unburial Rights. I love reanimating stuff, and this card does that. So.
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
So it is. That's what it is. Well, if you guys watch this on YouTube, we'll add the images to the video.
Endless Obedience is a 6-cost sorcery. It is 4 and 2 black. It has Convoke, and put target creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So the key word here is from a graveyard.
The key word is up. So not graveyard. Your graveyard. It's a graveyard.
So for 6 with Convoke, put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
It's probably gonna be yours, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're playing a deck that you're reanimating stuff, you're gonna make them fatties. But
my question to you is, would you play this in Standard if it was 6-cost instant speed,
but no Convoke?
But no Convoke.
Maybe. I think that the fact that it's Convoke, it helps it because I play stuff like Satyr Wayfinder. Satyr Wayfinder and this card are buddies.
Definitely.
I think when you have an enabler like that and you have this card, I think it's certainly good enough.
And you don't tend to use Satyr Wayfinder for anything else. Like,
yeah,
it
it sits there. For me, it's usually for sacrificing to Shadowborn Demon or adding another creature to the graveyard for like Night Howler or something.
It's fodder of some sort.
Yeah, it's just good. It does a lot of work for the deck. So
you just use that.
Yeah, Endless Obedience. It's better than Rise from the Grave, so it'll see some play, but less than Rights did for sure.
Well, Rights still sees play in Legacy, so.
Yeah, Legacy. Yeah, even Legacy. I miss that card a lot. Now I'm sad.
Still play that in,
So our next card on the list is In Garrick's Wake.
Yeah, In Garrick's Wake.
This is the promo of some sort for something. Was it?
Yeah, it's for Game Day.
Game Day.
Release Day? No, it's Release Day.
Release Day. Yeah.
Release Day.
Game Day promo is Chief Engineer.
Chief Engineer and the Reclamation Sage.
Yeah, sounds right.
Is that what it is? I mean,
Wait,
In Garrick's Wake, it's one that, quite frankly, I think the promo is way prettier than the regular card.
which actually is less common than you would think.
It's less common than you would actually think. But the big hang-up on this one, it's a 9-drop. So it's with no Convoke, which is bizarre for the set, it seems. But it's 7 and then 2 black. Destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control at sorcery speed.
So it's powerful.
So wipe their board clean, minus indestructible.
It's not. I guess 9 cost, not 7 cost.
So this is the first card on this list that we've mentioned that I think it's going to see more play in EDH.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's so good in EDH. You're
It's
playing
so good.
against like 3 or 4 people, wiping everyone's board. Man, that's. I mean, aside from like there are a lot of enchantments and artifacts, but like killing planeswalkers is just insanely good. Like especially as like a rat spell.
Especially when it says all.
It's
and that's not yours.
Followed by you don't control.
Yeah, it's Cyclonic Rift is the same thing in EDH. It's super good because it just wipes everyone's board. This one it's different. It's not as good as Rift in that sense, but like it kills them. So I mean,
so they're not going to be playing him again. Their hands aren't full of stuff.
Yeah, they're going to be and even in standard, we're playing in a standard format that has a card that's like Gaia's Cradle but Freddy colored. We have Nykthos. So I think if you have enough Black Devotion, easily cast this really like turn 4 or 5. If you have enough Black Devotion, you can do it.
At least before rotation, at least.
Oh yeah, and I'm hoping that they do something cool with Devotion because it's a sweet concept, and we need something that enables Devotion. And this is something that if I was playing Mono Black, I might one of this, or sideboard it. I think and play some Nykthos. I think Mono Black decks need to play more Nykthos.
The sort of bizarre concept I see here, though, it's a high mana cost, and it's the first hard sweeper we've seen in the set, which is usually a white thing. It's the first hard sweeper we've seen in M15.
Is it the only one?
Pretty much the only hard sweeper, I think. But
Unless you count that enchantment removal.
yeah, that's the only hard creature sweeper that we've seen, really. I guess the enchantment removal is also a creature sweeper.
Early.
Say goodbye to Constellation.
Dang it, BBD.
Dang it, BBD. But in Garrick's Wake, I do really like the idea of using Nykthos to play it, but I think that's actually, honestly, the only way.
Yeah,
In standard
yes and no.
format, it's about the only way that you can really throw it out effectively. Unless you're using a control deck and you get to that point in the game.
Yeah, I think it could be an Esper control card. Sure. I think for the time being, if you have 10 mana, you can just quicken that thing. It's pretty crazy, right? 10 mana, draw a card, kill your stuff. Like that's pretty good.
That seems decent. By the way, at the very end, I have a card I wanted to special mention.
Okay, understand. Yeah. So
You would.
yeah, that card's good. Garrick's Wake is pretty good.
So next on our blacklist, we have Liliana Vess, a reprint from, I believe, M11 was the last time we saw it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's been a while.
I missed it. You know,
And I guess the story behind it, they were going to reprint Liliana of the Veil, which I was excited about.
That was the
because
story.
that's my favorite, in my opinion, overpowered Planeswalker.
3-cost planeswalkers are just good.
3-cost Planeswalker that immediately get rid of your stuff or
But
discard your
2-cost
stuff.
planeswalkers are never good. Why is that? Because they're all Tibble, you know. But yeah, so
But 1-mana Planeswalkers are great.
Yes.
They get banned in Modern.
What?
Deathrite
Deathrite
Children.
I was like, what?
Come on.
Trading Posts cost 1.
4 cost.
But yeah, Liliana Vess is the next best thing to Liliana the Veil. I think people that haven't played with it don't understand how good the thing is.
What is she, a 5 cost?
It's 5 costs, enters with 5, +1, target player discards a card, -2, you Vampiric Tutor, so you put it on top of your deck. And then the last ability, it escapes me.
It doesn't really matter.
Probably irrelevant.
That's good enough.
It's probably really good, actually.
Just as it sits, that's good enough, but this one's Italian.
That's not
very
going to help. Search for non-Italian.
Easy, Agoti Doce.
Oh, we can figure that out.
Put all creature cards from all graveyards on the battlefield under your
Rise
control.
of the Dark Realms. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's a card now.
So, you can do that.
That's pretty good, I guess.
In my opinion, we have a cube, and in our cube, this is one of the big hitters, in my opinion. When I see it, if I don't have anything amazing in my pack, such as a Channel or an Emrakul, or both, I'll pretty much just take the Liliana Vess. It's tested and proven. She just wins games on her own.
I just realized something. Channel. No, this doesn't work. But if you got like the Cogwork guy, the guy that lets you take 2 cards from a pack.
Yeah.
And you get past channel. It'd be ridiculous. I don't know. That's all I want to say.
So, Liliana Vest.
Okay. All right.
For +1, target player discards a card. I just feel like that's pretty overpowering, and everybody neglects to realize just how good it is, because people want to hold on to what's in their hand. Usually, when you cheat this out,
Even if you're playing with it, it's hard to really tell what kind of damage you're doing when you make them discard a card. When they get to choose, it's still like they have plans for all these cards most of the time. If their deck is good and they're good players, they have a plan for every card in their hand, so they want to use it.
Yep.
A card like Mind Rot, it doesn't see a lot of play, but it can actually do a lot of damage to.
It can be devastating.
It can really, even if they have like 5 cards, getting rid of 2 of them. I wanted these cards. Maybe they're lands I need to play to cast this, or maybe it's a card I want to cast.
Do you think this will be played in Black Devotion?
No.
it won't be played in Black Devotion, but I do see it as a super friend in an Esper play.
Okay.
I think it's weird because Mono Black didn't need a Planeswalker. It already had a Planeswalker that was meant for Mono Black itself in Liliana Dark Realms.
And it saw little to zero.
That is actually built for Mono Black, and it's not played in Mono Black. So what does that really tell you? Yeah, it's fetching swamps, and it's
fetching swamps plus X plus X
pumping or killing things equal to the swamps you control. It's Mono Black, and it's not doing.
Well, do you think that after rotation it might have a possibility?
This one?
Yeah. Liliana Vest.
I see Liliana Vest in Esper. That's my home for Liliana Vest. I'll probably just be playing on Esper.
Considering there's no verdict, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell.
All right.
Yeah. So next we have Obnixilis Unshackled.
I completely forget this card, isn't it?
Which is a shout out to the old Obnixilis from, I think, Zendikar or Worldwake. This one, it is a big dude, and the relevant part of Obnixilis is it deals 10 damage.
Oh, this one, that's right.
It does 10 to someone who searches their library.
Yeah.
Which seems like it's certainly good in Modern. We don't search our library as much in Standard. And
not unless you're using
EDH also. This is a sweet EDH card. Maybe as a commander, I don't know. But
the thing we're looking forward to with Obnixilis is the 10 damage is ridiculous, and what makes you search your library more than anything else? Fetch lands.
Fetch lands, and that's something that we really think. I think all 3 of us really think that it's going to happen in cons, that they're going to reprint Onslaught fetches, and so many things.
Yeah, specifically Onslaught fetches, not the Zendikar ones.
But the thing about this one is it's designed by someone outside of Wizards. That's what makes me think maybe not. That if this was a Wizards design card, certainly we would say definitely fetch lands. But this one, maybe he knew something that we didn't.
Maybe he wanted a good EDH card.
Yeah. Do you see with his abilities? He is a 6-drop. Sorry, he's a 6-drop, 4 and 2 black, 4/4 flying with trample.
Yeah.
His ability: whenever an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacrifices a creature and loses 10 life.
Nice thing is it's your opponent, you can do it all you want.
Yeah, you can search all you want. That's fine.
And whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Obnixilis. So I see this. It won't happen in most cases, but within Garrick's Wake, it could become a pretty silly thing.
Sure. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be inconstructed, but
it's funny that this card actually kind of hates the last card we're talking about, Liliana Vest, the -2 searches for cards, and I'm dead. So,
10 life is a bit of a...
Yeah,
it hurts.
That's
a setback.
It's rough. It's rough because if it was any less mana cost, I'd say maybe playable in Modern. But the fact that it's 6 is right out the window. Anything more than 4, it's hard to play in Modern.
Yeah.
So,
unless it's an affinity sideboard or something.
Yeah, unless you're convoking it somehow. So,
if you can
which I don't know if there's a way to do that.
Yeah, there's really no way to do that. So,
maybe you could Court Callings it?
Yeah, Court Calling on this guy would be pretty nasty. It's like, I'll search my life. No, you won't. It's like, I guess you will. You'll lose 10 life. You're dead. I'm like,
See, the thing that I like about it is Rurik Thar was also a 6-drop, and Rurik Thar did some serious damage with instants and sorceries, dealing 6 to their controller.
The difference here is instant sorceries are more common than searching your library.
Which is true.
Is there any way to force your opponent to search?
I don't think there is, because everything that says your opponent searches is a may. Like, even Path to Exile, it's like, I don't have to. I'm just going to shuffle.
Right, so I'm not going to take 10.
Yeah, I'm not going to. So,
Hey,
I don't need that land.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird.
So next on our list, I'm excited for it. Sign in Blood.
Sign Blood. It's
Target 2 black. Target player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards.
Might be in the opposite order, but yeah.
One of the only. It just happens.
It happens simultaneously.
It's one of the only common cards we have on here, I guess. But yeah,
it's also a big one because 2 life is a small price to pay for 2 cards.
But it also can put the finishing moves on your opponent. It's
odd because this card was replaced by Read the Bones in Theros block, and I'm not sure which is going to get played more. I think if you're playing mono black, you really have a hard decision to make. In 2 or 3 color decks, you play Read the Bones, but this one, I don't know. I like Sign in Blood.
You don't get to. Yeah, you don't.
Sign in Blood can actually kill a guy, which I've done before.
Sign in Blood can be a finishing move on your opponent. It can also make you get the cards. It's really universal. Where Sign in Blood or where Read the Bones kind of falls short.
Yeah, but you don't get to scry with this one. You get to scry the other one.
Right.
But you can also play it on turn 2.
Yeah.
So.
It's also cheaper.
You can Sign in Blood into Unreal Connections or Nightfall Spectre or something like that into protection. So there's that.
So the last one on our list is Waste Not.
We have Soul of Innistrad.
Oh, sorry, I missed Soul of Innistrad.
Soul of Innistrad, you got to play with it.
I did. It's awesome. The card is cool.
We played with all the souls. Not really, but...
I only played with 2.
Except for me with my awful, awful box.
Soul of Innistrad is super cool, and I'm actually playing it in my deck on Friday. My Black-Green Dredge deck, I'm playing it as a one-of just to try it out.
So before we go any further, Soul of Innistrad, it's another one of the souls, the replacement titans, a 6-cost, 4 with 2 devotion to its respective color, 6/6. This one with Death Touch, just like Grave Titan.
Which is more relevant than you think.
Which is a lot more relevant than you would think. And it is pay 5, 3 and 2 black, which is the smallest price, I believe, between the souls.
It's equal to Soul of Nefire Ixia.
Right, so it's the lowest.
Chandelar 5/2?
Yeah, Chandelar's 5/2.
Chandelar's also 5.
Yeah.
So it's still the lowest.
Yeah,
it's the lowest.
Yeah.
Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, and of course the pay 5, exile it from your graveyard and do the same.
Yeah. So if nothing, if you're playing graveyard-based stuff, it's certainly good. You're almost always going to get the 3. If you're not, it's still value. I think cube drafts, some people I've played Unburial Rites in just a deck that just has good creatures in it, and it's still good. It's still value. You're still getting cards for less. So getting stuff back in your hand, it's certainly good. And the fact that if you have 2 of these, you can cycle them infinitely, I guess. So you could have I have 1 Soul of Innistrad, it dies. I'll play another one. I'll pay 5, get my other Soul of Innistrad back. So just keep replacing them over and over again, which is cool. I think it's good. It's once again more hate for board wipes. So Verdict is getting worse and worse by the moment, it seems.
But it's a good thing it's rotating because I'm still pretty much tempted to play it a lot.
And this Death Touch, people think that with a 6/6 frame it's useless, but you have stuff maybe someone's blocking with 3 Corsair Crewfix, you're gonna kill them all. They're all gonna die. So little things like that. There's a lot of booty shaking.
There seems to be a lot of things in Standard right now that are a lot higher toughness than Power.
Yeah.
Just for walls, like Corsair Crewfix, you have Nyx Fleece Ram, things like that.
What's the...
Even red deck, you have Frostburn Weird.
Yeah.
A lot of things...
Frostburn Weird, Nightfall Spectre, just Puffin Raptor.
Yeah.
Things where you have to block, they have to block you with multiples, and Death Touch is just a lot more effective than you would think.
Even Grey Merchant, 2/4, that's...
Even Grey Merchant, which is
some of the most played creatures have the booties.
So
big booties, big butts.
I see him as he's playable. He's not my favorite, but he's playable.
My favorite.
He's definitely playable. Standalone, he's okay, but
you're crazy.
I like his Home and Dredge myself.
No, he's gonna do some good work there. Maybe you said you were thinking about playing a junk deck with it.
Yeah, in a Reanimator maybe.
Oh. Reanimator, I can see that. The last black card we have is Waste Not,
which you, the people, designed. Maybe not you, but
it's a field enchantment. It is a 2-cost, 1 and a black. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, add 2 black to your mana pool. And whenever an opponent discards a non-creature or non-land card, draw a card.
So if you're basing your deck around discarding cards like Thoughtseize, you pretty much get to choose what you're going to. I'm gonna.
I
would like a zombie.
Anything but mana, but
yeah, anything but mana.
Yeah, it's cool. It's great that it's in format right now with like Rakdos Return and like Duress
Ooh,
and
I didn't think about
Nazis. You know, Mind Rot even might see some play now. And I'm kind of annoyed by it now, thinking about it. I don't want to discard cards. You know? I don't want to do that.
But I can also.
Liliana.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, think about it with Liliana. You're gonna get some decent things out of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be. I think that card has some potential.
So-
If you have 2 on the field, they both triggers.
Yeah, my advice though is if you want to play it right now because you're gonna lose like Duress and
lose a lot
Rakdos
of
Return.
things.
So
Yeah.
play it right now.
Rakdos Return's gonna be pretty nifty with this.
Yeah, it's like,
That's
I'm gonna
for sure.
get this much mana, these zombies, and you know whatever.
In a Black Devotion
You said make-
splash red.
You gotta make sure it has something to do with the mana. That's the only thing.
That's weird. It's hard to plan ahead because you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sweet. You play
So
that.
I'm just gonna also
to...
play a Sign of Blood.
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
exactly what I was gonna say.
More cards for me, less for you.
So it's it's definitely an interesting card, and it's cool that Magic got to let us design one.
I know part of this, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't have let it happen.
Actually, I think I did vote once on something, but I don't think
I might have.
I'll be
think I-
honest, I was just too busy playing. I just kind of sat back and let it happen.
Whatever. Anyways,
So that's the end of our black portion. Now we're moving on to red. Red is
set review episode 6
interesting.
or whatever.
yeah. Red's interesting to me. I played mono red for a long time after rotation.
I don't like red.
A lot of people don't like red.
I don't like red.
I like red.
A lot of people are either red or they're not red, and these two are not red, and
What?
I like red.
My biggest decks are Boros and Izzet.
Not really red though.
They're not really red. They're pretty reliant on the other color.
It's just kind of there.
But the first card we have to review from red is Hoarding Dragon,
I haven't foiled one of those.
which is he does have a foil one of those. It is a 5-cost, 3 and 2 red, 4/4 with flying. When Hoarding Dragon enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card, exile it, then shuffle. When Hoarding Dragon dies, you may put exiled card into its owner's hand.
It's dragon.
The dragon.
It's all right. I mean, artifacts seem to be a bigger and bigger part, so maybe they're.
I think the reason I put this on the list was because it just seems like they're trying to put something about artifacts.
Yeah.
There wasn't there's more artifacts in a set than most and core sets, I think, especially good.
Yeah, more good ones, definitely.
More good ones for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they have a lot of cards that seem to be doing stuff with artifacts. Then you have Darksteel Citadel, which is also an artifact in there.
Happens some artifacts.
So it seems like there's a lot more artifacts in this core set and cards that deal with artifacts than.
It's good.
So
Yeah.
If you pull this at the pre-release, you're gonna play it.
I can
Okay,
tell you,
I've
I can
got
tell you
four.
firsthand. If I pull a foil one, I'm not going to play it. So because I didn't.
I don't know.
So-
I mean, if you got
If you have enough red base to
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
I'm definitely gonna play this 5-cost, 4/4 flying.
that's just good on
Constructed, unless you have something really broken to do with an artifact, I don't see it happening.
No, I'll say that.
Evasion's good. It's-
Evasion wins games,
Yeah.
but Hoarding Dragon's not going to win you a lot of games.
This next card I think is really interesting.
It's interesting.
The next card is Aggressive Mining.
It's a 3-cost and 1 red.
So four.
Yes, a 4 cost. It's a card that was designed by another person. Its text is you cannot play lands. Ouch.
Ouch.
Can't play lands. Sacrifice a land. Ouch. Especially when you can't play them. Draw 2 cards.
Yeah. So what's this for?
And you can only do this once per turn.
Yeah, only once turn. So what's this for? I mean,
That's the question. It's got to be. The only thing I could think of was some sort of deck where you don't need lands, or you put lands directly on the battlefield, or something like that.
like if you have like mana rampers or something.
Yeah. One thing I thought about is you can. I don't know exactly the wording is on play, but if you can use like Primeval Titan, Primeval Titan just puts them on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And so it's like Farseek and stuff like that. So if you saw like a Farseek, you just put lands on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And maybe just a way for cards like decks like that to be able to sacrifice to draw cards and stuff like that.
I'm going to be honest, this is one that Wizards kind of left me scratching my head.
No, everyone's trying to figure out how to break
Yeah.
it, and no one's really sure how.
But someone in that building knows how to use this card, and I want to know.
that's terrifying.
Somebody knows something we don't.
This card's going to be played at the Pro Tour.
No.
Someone's going to take this card and try to break it somehow.
Maybe Conley. We'll see.
I only always plays it.
If anybody tries to break it, it's going to be Conley Woods.
I don't know if he can though.
I'm not.
It's even not. It's not even that big of an upside though.
No, it's not a great upside. If it was like 4 cards.
And people are talking about how people would play this at the late game. I put in like an American
But
control
once
deck.
again, it's sitting in your hand. Like, what is it?
Right, that's why you
doing
only play
until then?
that's why you play like one copy.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think someone.
I don't even see it with Chasm Skulker. That doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
We'll see.
it doesn't make any sense.
If you could take someone else's lands away and sack them or something. Oh.
If that was possible, I mean, I could see
with
it.
like Nissa, get
Nissa
all your
just-
lands and then sack them all, one at a time, I guess.
I mean, Nissa goes and gets lands,
Yeah,
and she just puts
I
them on top.
guess.
That's what our final
Well,
ability.
Liliana of the Dark Realms puts them in your hand,
Mhm.
so that wouldn't even work.
No, it won't work.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can't figure it out. So
If you have an idea, post it, comment. When it's on YouTube, comment below. If you're watching Google Plus, comment
wherever
on the page.
wherever that is.
And if they're good, we will discuss.
But considering that we have 0 viewers right now, you probably aren't watching.
So yeah,
so
don't bring that up.
next on the list, we've got Chandra Pyromaster,
good old reprint.
a reprint.
This is the only Planeswalker that reprinted? Besides Leon Vest, you reprint-
the immediately reprinted. Yes.
Immediate reprint,
Yeah.
yes.
So Wizards just saying, what I think, I'm not sure, but I think that Wizards is saying with this set, they wanted to bring all the Planeswalkers back to say what are they doing right now, and that explains why Liliana Vest, it was going to be Liliana the Veil, but it's not, because they decided it was too good. Chandra Pyromaster, she hasn't really done anything, so.
And
Standard has not done a lot. It's a really good modern replacement for the Blood Red Elf getting banned.
Yeah, I mean, it's card advantage, and, that's really all you need if you're playing, like, Jund or something.
And if you're playing Dark Confidant and you also have Chandra Pyromaster taking stuff off the top,
Yeah.
And
you got 2 extra
even
cards.
even Corsair Crewfix is seeing a lot of play in Jund now, and knowing what's on top is really good.
Yeah.
Chandra Pyromaster and Corsair Crewfix is a combo.
And she,
So
by far, she is the best Chandra we ever
yeah, I think everyone agrees that it's Chandra the playable.
Chandra the
All we
playable.
were asking for was Chandra the playable, and we got
one.
it. I
And
guess.
we're happy with it. And so having it
It's-
reprinted is
It's
good.
the red Jace.
We would be remiss to ask for Chandra the Overpowered.
I won't. Sure, go for it. I would like to see it. Give me a good one.
So, next on the list we have Crucible of Fire.
I'll talk about this one real quick.
Go ahead.
All right, so Crucible of Fire. Specifically, it's give dragons, +3/+3. I don't know what the exact stats are, but the reason why I found this card interesting is that there's no dragons in Theros, as far as I'm aware. There's a few. There's a few.
Yeah.
But it just seems like it's setting up for more dragons down the road.
Dragon's Egg becomes a 3/6.
Sure.
Dragon's Agents.
I suppose.
Is
Is it also a defender? Isn't Dragon's Egg a defender?
Yes.
Well then.
Alright, so it's a 4-cost enchantment, 3 in a red, and it gives dragon creatures you control +3/+3.
And the interesting thing, I think, is the last time we saw this was a Lara block.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And so now we're going to a plane. We're going to a plane with Sarkhan Bull, who
Dragons. Yeah.
loves dragons. I wouldn't be surprised if his one of his abilities is making dragons. And
As a matter of fact, the last Sarkhan ultimated and made 5 dragons.
Well, I thought Tarkir had no dragons.
that's a thing.
I thought they all died. So
Our guess, I guess from our other friend Eric, is that there's gonna be no dragons in the first 2 sets, and then the last set there's gonna be a bunch of dragons.
some shaman dude, maybe Domri. Maybe Domri will show up and just wake up some dragons.
Seems too early for them to come back.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
But that's the possibility that the dragons come back.
Maybe Domri grew up. Domri a little kid. Yeah. I don't know.
Our little Domri's growing up.
I think it would be cool to play this if you're rampant. Like you ramp and you turn 3 this and then turn 4 Stormbreath Dragon.
That'd be cool.
That's an interesting.
But how often is that going to happen?
It's a 7/7 Stormbreath Dragon.
Well, yeah, which is great.
But
You play it in Gruul, pretty much.
Yeah, if you play it, but you need a lot more dragons to make that card playable.
That's
and then
fair.
you lose out.
Yeah, definitely.
You lose out on Plukernos, and then it's like, oh well, why am I even playing
I
this?
mean, it'd be nice if there is more dragons. I don't think it's ever gonna be playable actually. I mean, if you put it's definitely good in Timmy's are gonna like this card.
Yeah.
Timmy's are gonna play this in their casual dragon decks with if they find them the dragon shamans and stuff like that.
It may be in EDH. I mean, it's already printed, but get hands on it for EDH or something. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's gonna get
It's fine, but we're going to have to see what happens in Standard to even make a call on this one.
Dragons are one of the most laughable creature types. I think.
To be perfectly
It's like you're
honest.
playing dragons. Okay, I got this. 2-0. You want to sign this? Like, yeah, yeah.
The only dragons I can even sign my name to are Stormbreath Dragon and Thundermaw Hellkite.
Those are like the best two, honestly.
No.
Those are the most dangerous by far. I played them both in standard.
Maybe the really old Niv-Mizzet?
Even then, it's all right.
Yeah.
But the next one on our list, I like this little fella. It's Goblin Kaboomist, which is it's already a comical name, but it's a 2-cost.
It's like a goblin.
Goblin test pilot. It's like
It
this.
is, hey! It is a 2-cost, 1 and a red, 1/2 frame Goblin Warrior. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a colorless artifact token named Landmine onto the battlefield with pay a red, sacrifice this artifact. This artifact deals 2 damage to target attacking creature without flying. Then flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Goblin Kaboomist deals 2 damage to itself.
Basically, it kills itself if you flip the right.
So
You lost me at it costs 2 and red.
it
I stopped listening.
Goblin Kaboomist essentially
Plus 1 in red.
Oh, is that what it is?
at the
One
beginning
Yeah, you lost me before then, I guess.
at the beginning of your upkeep, with him on the field, you get an artifact landmine. You can pay a red and sacrifice the landmine to blow or do 2 damage to an attacking creature without flying.
Yes.
You flip a coin, and if you lose the flip, he kills himself.
Yes, and that's something that goblins do.
That's something the goblins do. But I can also see that being fairly effective. But I don't like things that are left to chance, like flipping coins,
Like Goblin Test Pilot.
like Goblin Test Pile.
Big goblins.
Yeah.
This guy is a flavor
This is-
card at best.
Just saying, going to this spot was not saying that we think that we're going to fail this.
No, how often does Goblin Test Pilot fail if it never gets played? You know. I pulled a Kaboomist in my pre-release, one of my pre-releases, and I didn't play it because, quite frankly, if I had pulled a landmine token, maybe I would have. But
His failure rate is
it's like
stunning.
I'll call you landmine.
Yeah.
A token named landmine, so I'm calling you. Anywho,
Next one on our list is Goblin Rabble Master.
Rabble
Now,
Master.
this one is actually a fairly decent goblin.
It's a shout out to a legacy goblin. What is it called? Pile Driver. I think it does the same thing as this. So, but I don't think it's going to get played instead of Pile Driver.
No. It's,
So what we have here in Goblin Rabble Master, it's a 3-cost, 2/2 frame Goblin Warrior, which is pretty standard for a Goblin Lord per se. But other Goblin creatures you control attack each turn if able.
also, the cost is 2 in a red.
2 and a red.
Yeah.
And that can be detrimental, the attack each turn if able, but usually with goblins you're going to want to do that anyway. At the beginning of each combat, on your turn, put a 1/1 red goblin token with haste onto the battlefield, and whenever Goblin Rabble Master attacks, it gets +1/+0 until the end of the turn for each other attacking goblin.
Right. So I played against a deck that was Tribal Goblins in Standard recently when I was testing some stuff online. Obelisk of Erd gives +2/+2 for everything of a creature type.
Mhm.
So
You choose a creature type.
yeah, so goblins, maybe not necessarily like a definite shell there, but you could try and play Tribal Goblins.
It's something that has a little bit of potential, but you have to kind of know what you're doing, I guess,
yeah.
to put something like that.
And if you know what you're
together.
doing, you're not playing goblins.
Right.
If you are, if you're fun. It could definitely be a strong tier 2 deck.
It's a strong budget deck.
It's something that it could go in modern goblins, maybe. It could. I think if you have like a chieftain or something, that's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
I don't think it's bad.
And we have a modern goblins deck that we play from time to time
Yeah.
just for fun. But you also need stuff like Blood Moon to even make it a feasible deck.
You'd be surprised how much attacking every turn.
Especially
it's
in
good.
modern format,
It's
a lot of decks just don't sideboard. They sideboard to be Pod, they sideboard to be Twin.
Playing against a birthing pod that does 17 damage to itself before it wins. It happened to me.
Lightning
I
Bolt?
could have bolted it, and I didn't have one. So
That's where goblins come in handy, because Goblin Grenade is nifty. Especially when you have a guy that's making a goblin every turn. You don't even have to attack with it. Every combat, you just get one.
And you could have a lot of stuff that pumps it out, so it's not just a 1/1. It could have all these extra abilities.
Right.
And
then if you
more
have-
grenade target,
But I don't see it in standard at all.
No,
Not a bit.
We need Goblin Grenade or something to make it good. So
We would need something. The next one is an interesting one for this standard coming up. It's Shrapnel Blast,
Double Blast is awesome.
It's
which is 2-cost, 1 and a red.
sacrifice an artifact.
Sacrifice an artifact.
Deal 5 to a
Deal
target.
5 damage to a target.
I believe it's sacrifice an artifact as part of the cost.
Yes.
So if it's counter, that's
There's no response.
Additional cost. Yeah, but ideally you're playing things that you don't need to be, you're not sacrificing things that you want anyway. So I mean,
like an Ornithopter, or what we've discussed is
Darksteel Citadel, easily. So you could throw this in a burn deck. It does 5 damage, and that's something that just by itself, it's like open your ears now. It's 5 damage in a format that already has a lot of burn spells. You could throw it in a burn deck and be set for a while.
Definitely. I mean, and burn decks don't tend to rely too much on lands. Like if you get extra lands, this one's fine.
Yeah, if you're playing Darksteel Citadels, yeah, it hurts your mana base a little because you want to play stuff like Boros Charm that needs specific mana. Chandra's Phoenix also specific mana.
Yeah.
But I mean, 5 damage. It's something to think about.
And currently we have, well, technically speaking, you could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times 4, 16 dual lands. It feels people are only to play 12 of them.
Yeah,
Boros.
and you have Mana Confluence as well.
Yeah, Mana Confluence.
Which I don't think burn decks are playing. I think some.
No, it hurts us too much.
I think
if people are playing it, I think it burns it. It hurts too much.
You're also not playing Eidolon Great Rebel, and I think it's ridiculous to not do that. I think that's crazy.
I'm doing well.
That's the best. That's the best card in that deck. Anywho, Shrapnel Blast is good.
I think the most wayward way to use it so far that we've thought about was with the Scuttling Doom Engine.
Yeah, which is pretty
because
awesome.
That is pay 2 after you've probably swung for 6 and do 11 damage.
Ideally, yeah. So it's sack a Doom Engine, deal 11. Which is pretty good. I don't know.
No, that's it.
I think so. I mean, it's like Skullcrack. Normally, it's pay 2, deal usually like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
This could easily be a lot more.
Which is interesting because whenever you have this out too, you think to say maybe. I just lost my train of thought completely.
Yeah, no clue.
Yeah.
Look where you're going.
Yeah. So it's Shrapnel Blast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can always whip back the old Scuttling Doom Engine and swing with it.
So you're playing red black then.
And then Shrapnel Blast away the Doom Engine again.
Or Shrapnel Blast the whip. Who knows?
Blast the whip.
You could. I mean,
if the whip's not doing it for you.
Like, I'm sick of getting life.
I mean, it's got some options because if you already killed it, it can't be exiled at the end of the turn.
I think that people are playing this in their Is-It builds of artifacts, so
it exiles.
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah.
I think people are playing this with their they're playing this with their Is-It builds, so they're using the Convoke guy, the chief engineer, with red cards, and then just.
I saw it today in a video with BBD. He was playing it in a deck he called Red Blue 5. So it was Red Blue artifact theme. Deal 5 in a lot of ways. Shrapnel Blast being one of them. And Soul Artifact, another one of them. So I think artifacts. I think Red Blue is the right color combination for artifacts based on what we have. Just based on Shrapnel Blast and Soul Artifact. The best artifact based cards.
Okay, the last one for our red list is another one of the replacement Titans, the Souls. It's the 6-cost, 6/6 frame, 4 and then 2 of its respective color. First strike, the Soul of Chandelar.
Shandy.
And it is another one of the lowest cost, 5 cost, 3 and 2 red. Soul of Chandelar deals 3 damage to target player and 3 damage to up to 1 creature that player controls.
Yep.
And then, of course, the 5 cost, exile it and do the same.
Yeah, it took care of me pretty quickly. I pretty much wasn't able to attack my Castle Skulker because I had blocked that thing if it wanted to attack me, and just every turn, on pay 5, 3 to your face.
Yeah. First strike on a 6/6 seems pretty good.
First strike on a 6/6, let alone the ability to also pay 5 and then Inferno Titan.
Yeah, and which also helps because it's in response to the damage you can first strike kill.
But it's actually better than Inferno Titan because it's 3 to your face and 3 to your face
and 3 to a creature.
I would say yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of like the ability to spread the damage.
We need to stop comparing these to Titans because they're just you can't.
The Titans are just better. That's all there is to it.
Wizards, they're not going to make Titans again. We keep asking for Titans, and we can't have Titans again. So let's just move on.
They're really good. So don't make them.
I mean, this guy's cool. There's a card in Gate Crash. What was it? Oh, was it maybe Theros? There was a card that did what he does for 5. It was 4 and a red that did 3 to a creature and player. So it was good in limited. It was never played in standard, but it was never attached to a 6/6 body. So I mean. This guy's super cool. I don't know.
I'm kind of excited just to see I know it's because of the campaign in the Duels of
Planeswalkers, yeah.
But I'm excited to see a reference to Chandelar.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Chandelar since I started playing, so I don't know.
Yeah, Chandelure is this really, really old plane. I think it's actually the first plane they went to after Alpha and Beta in Arabian Nights.
Oh, is that what's... Okay. Chandelure? Okay.
I think it makes sense.
Oh.
Arabian Nights, Chandelure. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
So, I guess our consensus on the Soul of Chandelure, it's playable, very playable.
But in what?
Limited.
But in what?
In limited.
In what deck and constructed? That's the question.
Yes,
I don't see it.
Monsters.
Monsters.
Maybe monsters.
Monsters, maybe.
Red green monsters.
Red
not
green
giant
monsters. No, not giant, but
red green.
So we're moving on to green now.
green.
First card on our green list is Gather Courage, which is making a reappearance from Ravnica, the original Ravnica.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's 1 cost green instant, Convoke, and target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. So a slightly not as good giant growth, but Convoke.
Yeah, so you can be tapped out and be like
Yeah, playing things for free.
scary.
They're scary. Like it's a battle trick that you could have without having any mana, and that's it could change a game. In limited, sure.
Say you have your Voyaging Satyr, and you're not you don't attack that thing, and so you attack something. You're like tap that.
I mean, Voyaging Satyr already taps for mana, but I mean like.
Oh, sorry, not Voyaging Satyr. The Satyr used to find
Wayfinder.
Wayfinder.
I don't know why I'd be using a pump spell, but sure. I mean, yeah, you could. I mean,
In limited.
In limited, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it makes guys. I mean, +2 is actually pretty important in limited. +1 or +1 in first strike is good. +2 is good also, but any less I wouldn't like it. Any more it would be overpowered. So I think it's right where it needs to be.
But it seems like it could be an interesting card.
So the next one we're looking at it was the green promo from the pre-release, Phyto Titan.
I always read it as Phytolitan, but it's Phyto Titan apparently.
It is Phyto.
Phyto Titan.
Phyto. It's a. I don't remember how it costs. I know it's a 7/2 body.
It's a 6 cost 7/2, and then when it dies, you return it to the battlefield.
Under your control.
Next upkeep, you get it on the battlefield tapped.
Yeah.
Which takes a long time. I played the demo or maybe the full. I don't know. I played Those of the Planeswalkers. I just downloaded it last night. And I'm playing a black-green deck, and I have this card. And it's good if it's like a board stall, and you just want to have something that you are okay with swinging in with, I guess.
Yeah.
It also seems good with Whip, because it gives it lifelink. And if you want to whip it back instead of waiting a turn, you can, I guess.
But is it when the exile?
Oh, no, yes, no, never mind. I guess you wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, it's weird. It's
another creature type we haven't seen for, I don't know.
What creature type is that?
It's a plant elemental.
Element. Okay.
Plant elemental.
Plant elemental. Phytolitan.
Which is I guess if I see it in the pre-release, that's why I didn't pick green.
If it had, I never saw one in the pre-release. I think everyone was playing black. I played against like everyone.
I didn't. I don't see it.
If it had one, if it was just a little bit better, if it was like one more thing, if it was like a 7/3, or if it was like a 5-drop, or if it came out untapped, that would be, or if it was like the next upkeep, like my opponent's upkeep, I would be fine with it.
No, yeah.
But it's right off the.
The girl you played had it in her deck.
I never saw it.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I saw it in the deck, but I wasn't.
I never saw it.
All right, next card is.
You move past restock, or
yeah, I remember move past.
Yeah,
I went restock because I thought it was a rare. I don't know why.
It's not a rare.
Yeah.
Really exciting card. Reprint of Court of Calling.
Yay, Value Town.
Pretty much. I mean, I think it's a better art. First off.
Yeah.
I like the art way better than
I
the
saw a
old
guy
one.
with a foil one from the pre-release. I was
nice.
pretty upset about it. He used it. He also had the black promos. So he had Court of Calling out his Indulgent Fermenter. Oh, it's like, that's cool.
That's a neat thing to do.
I won that game somehow, but
yeah. So this card is played in
Pod.
in modern
play,
and so it's really expensive right now. So it's nice to see a reprint.
Of course, it's a 3 green and X instant Convoke. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less, and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle.
So this card was being used as a substitute for Green Sun's
Zenith. Yeah, I don't think we would have known anything about this card if it wasn't for Green Sun's getting banned in Modern.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it did, because that would have made the deck so broken. Malira Pod would have just been like just easy ban.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is good. I think it has a lot of use in Standard. First thing I thought of was Slivers getting out Sliver Hive Lord.
Because it is green.
Like Verdict. Well, I'm going to respond and tap all the slivers and make my guys indestructible. Or I'm going to attack you with Vigilance, and then they're like, okay, I'll take it all. And then I Court of Calling, and I get Mechanic Sliver, give them all +3/+3.
Yeah.
And so I win.
Seems good.
The fact that it's instant speed makes it so much better, and also Convoke. The card is there. It's a great card, and I'm not sure. I think it's gonna do a lot in Standard. People are gonna think of something good to do with it. I'm not sure if any kind of build like that we have right now, it could just like be thrown in. Maybe like green aggro, mono green something.
It's another card that's already proven itself in other formats. We just need to find a way to make it effective in Standard.
Yeah. And there's no doubt about that. I can see this card being used at Pro Tour.
Yeah, and
easily.
Yeah, I think this is actually a card that I think Wizards prints cards just because they're too expensive. And maybe that's just my opinion.
Maybe we'll see a way to play it. Maybe we won't. Now it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, this is one of the. It was like $30-$40, and so it's like, why is this so expensive? So we'll just put it in the core set. So.
And it's not on the ban list. It's not like it's a card that people are like, oh, this shouldn't be reprinted.
Yeah, like I think Thoughtseize was the Mutavault were the same.
Yeah.
And those cards are the best cards at Standard. We have so many good. We talk about power creep, but the cards are so much better now. But the best cards at Standard are 2 reprints. So it's like, how much better our cards are now? So Court of Calling might be up there too.
So next on our list is the Genesis Hydra, which is not a reprint.
No, it's not.
It is a 2 green and X plant Hydra.
Or plants.
When you cast Genesis Hydra, reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put a non-land permanent card with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Genesis Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters. So, much like Primordial Hydra.
I'm
not sure where you're going with this.
It's not going to see play.
It's not going to see play.
But this card was designed by a player in the community. By George.
Yeah, I've seen George before.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Yes, it seems good. This card definitely it's very similar to Genesis Wave.
It's a shout out to Genesis Wave.
Definitely shout out to Genesis Wave. Not that nearly as good.
It's
a Hydra.
In a green ramp deck, you could easily you could cheat out something.
It could definitely be played. I think it's maybe playable.
Yeah, I
feel like it really depends on what's on top. It depends on what's on top that really makes it dirty. How much mana you actually
the
have.
fact that you only get one of them. That's the problem that I have with it. That you don't get all of them. Genesis Wave, you get all of them.
But it's almost like it's almost like a pseudo cascade.
Right, but you also get
kind of
if you hit.
And can it play lands? Is it anything less? I don't know.
Look at it.
Yeah, if it's anything, that would be like the worst case scenario. But like even if it's get permanent, I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive it can't get lands. But I don't know. Getting out something like a Planeswalker Garruk or something.
I guess you could do that.
Outside of Nykthos Green, I really don't see it doing anything.
You may put a non-land permanent.
Oh, non-land.
Not hit a land.
Oh, that's pretty bad. I don't know. I think mono green. I think the only way. I don't know.
I stand by my words. Much like Primordial Hydra, it's not going to see a whole lot of play.
All right.
Be pretty bad. We have the next one is Life's Legacy, which is a card that I actually got to play with firsthand in my first pre-release in my black-green deck.
It's a
2-cost.
A shout out to Momentous
Fall. It's a half. It's half as good as Momentous Fall. Half price does half the things. So it's 1 and a green. Sacrifice a creature. You draw cards equal to its power. Which is simple enough. It's a simple concept, and I think it's really good if you're playing stuff like my black-green Judge deck. Like you can cheat out things really fast, like Nemesis of the Mortal. Nemesis Mortals. That costs less for each creature in your graveyard, and then you can sack it and draw 5. Drawing cards is just super good, and it's so crazy that green is actually the best color for drawing cards now, that blue is just taking a back seat.
I think it was this card I was considering combining with Chasm Skulker when I was thinking about playing Sin.
Yeah, that seems good. Yeah. I don't know.
But even if you could either sack something to draw cards and make it bigger, or you could sack it to draw cards.
Yeah, it's definitely something that makes me excited for playing graveyard-based strategies, because you can just sack something and then get it back.
No, yeah. Definitely going to be useful. And
certainly see some play in that, I'm sure.
I think that your Dredge deck?
I'm not yet. I'm thinking about a way to use it.
We'll probably do some testing with that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to figure it out. I only have one right now, so I'm not gonna play it.
So, next one on our list is the biggest one. If you see it in limited, you're going to play it, and you're probably going to end up winning with it. It's Nissa World Waker.
It's World Waker.
So it is a 5-drop Planeswalker, 3 and 2 green. Comes out with 3 loyalty. This one has 2+1 abilities. The first one being target land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with trample. It's still a land.
Not till end turn.
It becomes indefinitely becomes a 4/4 creature with trample. And the other +1 is untap up to 4 target forests.
So if you play her in mono and green, you could.
She's essentially a 1-cost Planeswalker that does dirty things.
Yes.
And
that's her +1 ability.
Her -7 ability is search your library for any number of basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Those lands become 4/4 elemental creatures with trample.
Green, right?
They're still lands.
Well, yeah.
Pokemon Green.
Yeah, but we talked about like using that with Darksteel Citadel, but we can't do that.
Yeah, well, can you make any?
Is the +1 ability target
land you control?
Okay. Yeah, so you can make it a 4/4.
You can make your Darksteel Citadel a 4/4 with trample.
Yeah, and it's once again, this is another card that makes mono green ramp like something that people are going to want to play. And I think Verdict might take a back seat for a while because there's so much hate for it. Mono green, just play a bunch of stuff and just get a bunch of stuff out real fast. Yeah. If you're playing Nykthos, Nykthos mono green, this is just awesome. And if you're playing mono green, it could be a 1-drop Planeswalker on turn 5. Just kind of awesome.
One thing I really like about it is the -7. The thing that a lot of people don't think about, a lot of modern players really think about it. You're fishing out your lands from your deck.
Yeah.
So you're not drawing lands late into the game.
Yeah.
That's why fishing out your bad draws.
That's why fetch lands are good.
Right.
With that and shuffling away cards.
Just lessening the number of draws that could possibly be lands late game when you need something as an answer.
Yeah. It changes your percentages a lot.
It's
just
scary.
vastly improves the probability of drawing something.
This is really
relevant.
scary. This is super scary.
A deck.
This is scary.
This is scary.
This is scary.
I think it's the best card for limited in the set.
Yeah, we saw someone open one and he didn't play it.
We talked about it earlier. It's funny. We talked about Nissa so much before now, like in this time that we've been talking. So that's how much of a difference is it going to make? Probably a lot. It's going to be really good. So
next on our list is another one of the replacement Titans, Soul of Zendikar.
Mm-hmm.
It is the 6-drop 6/6 frame, 4 and then 2 of its respective color green. This one has reach, which is it's relevant in limited, I think, with this guy.
Yeah, so that guy stops.
He deals with the pesky little blue-white flyers.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't play against one.
Well, it's good in standard too with mono blue.
Right, it's a pretty decent answer against.
If you're playing a mono green deck, once again, mono green deck, get this guy out turn 3
At the same time, with this guy's abilities seem a lot more lackluster
the abilities are
than the
worse.
other ones.
His abilities are a lot worse.
Because with this guy,
what's the abilities?
His it's pay 3 and 2 green, so 5. Put a 3/3 beast token onto the battlefield, and then exile him from the graveyard. Do the same. So, I would rather have Arbor Colossus.
Yeah.
By far.
I could see where. Yeah.
We were talking about using him in
I feel like he's just
deck,
pay 1 extra to get a worse version of Arbor Colossus.
Arbor Colossus also adds another green devotion, which is super relevant.
Which is very relevant in the deck that he would even be feasible for.
Yeah.
It's odd. Once again, like if you're ramping real hard, paying 5 for a 3/3, you could easily just get a couple out of turn, and build an army like that. And
yeah, there is that recursion thing, but
recurring abilities, they seem bad when you look at them, but if you can do it every turn, it's just nasty. Because you're always going to have the best. You either play a spell that you want to play, or you play that. You're playing the best option.
In limited, I'll take it.
Yeah,
it's a 6-drop 6/6 frame. In limited, you have to.
Pretty much, if you take any soul that you open.
If you get a mythic, you're playing it, right? Like most of the time.
Not time reversal.
even that card was actually not bad.
Yeah.
It's
Tibble.
Even then, I mean, you might play it.
If you're bad.
Yeah.
If you're bad, you'll play it.
All right, I'm bad.
If I'm playing in limited, I'm going to take him. If I'm playing in standard, I'm taking Arbor Colossus instead.
Weren't you the one that said that you're in build a deck that made Tibalt worthwhile?
That's coming soon.
See, I tried doing that. It was hard.
It's
everything in the deck had flashback.
Not an easy
so it was kind of playable.
I just want to see him discard himself.
Oh no!
How did this happen?
Get here.
Okay, so next on our list is Sunblade Elf.
Yeah. The reason I put this card on the list
Why'd you do that?
because it's a one cost. It can be a one cost 2/2. That's why I put it on this
With the
list.
Temple Garden, right?
Yeah. And all the other ones, it was like you pay 3, you get a 3/3. You pay 2, you get a 2/2. All the other cards did the similar thing. It just wasn't as good.
Yeah.
But this one though, you can get a one cost 2/2.
So it's basically just an underpowered bad version of Wild and the Cattle.
Yeah.
What's his other ability? Does it do anything else?
His other ability, it's pay 4 and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn.
It's pretty bad.
So you pay 5 to give everything +1/+1, which
It's pretty bad.
it could be relevant, but I don't think it's feasible.
It doesn't.
Really.
It doesn't do what green does. Green gets out giant fatties real fast, and that's. I'd rather play an Elvish Mystic.
That has an elf ability, but that elf ability is pretty bad.
If there were more elves and like an Archdruid, I would play this.
Oh yeah.
But it isn't. So I mean,
And there's no elves in Theros, so the elves are just awful right now.
maybe in cons, maybe there'll be some elves. We don't know. We've never been there, so we don't know.
Never been there. Oh, actually, we have been there a long time ago.
No, we weren't there.
Never.
No.
Oh yeah, you said that we went to the first time. Rosewater said that.
So last on our list for the green cards, we have Yisan the Wanderer Bard, which is a 3 cost, 2 and a green, 2/3 human rogue. It's a legendary. You pay 2 and a green, tap it, put a verse counter on Yisan the Wanderer Bard. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of verse counters on Yisan. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So it's something that could get out of control, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of
is it any creature with the mana cost, or is it a green one?
Search your library for a creature card.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So it has potential to be out of control at some point.
Yeah.
But right away, it depends on what you're fishing for, really.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's similar to like how polymorphous is. Like you have to make sure you're using it properly.
I can see it as like if you're fishing out certain things that you want at certain times, you can do like turn 1 you want a sack outlet, and then you turn 2 Malira, then turn 3 you get.
So basically,
You get a kitchen fix, so you win.
Get pod and use
Yeah,
it for pod.
I'm not saying instead of pod, but I mean like you could just do the combo is like what a 1, 2, 3. So you just who's gonna let it live that long, right?
Yeah.
So
Something that you're going to kill it before it gets relevant.
I guess I saw one in the pre-release. I wasn't scared of it. So
No.
what are you gonna do?
I mean, no one was scared of my polymorphist either.
I challenge you to make it good in like a sealed or draft deck. Even constructed, I don't really know. It's rough.
So I have no idea.
No.
It's something that you won't see me playing with on a Friday night, that's for sure.
Maybe you might use it for the polymorphist deck, just to fill your deck up with legendaries.
Right, it's a legendary, but I don't think it's really good enough to make the list, to be
No,
honest.
probably not.
Yeah.
But
You might be able to play a Cynic deck.
You can find a way to put more counters on it.
the
Like
next
with,
is our only multicolored...
Nope, actually, I didn't. I missed a card.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
Really important one. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So which one were you thinking about? Same one as the.
Yeah, probably. I think probably the same one.
So I was thinking about Back to Nature. I don't know if you're thinking the same thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, I meant for the gold list, but yeah. Back to Nature.
Yeah, Back to Nature. In green, it's going to be one of the most popular sideboard cards, I think. Pay 2 green.
It's
instant or one in green. Instant. Destroy all enchantments. And it's funny because Wizards is jamming down our throat. Play more enchantments. And then they're like, oh, by the way, they're all dead if your opponent pays 2 anytime. Which is kind of crazy. Corsair Crewfix is the most popular creature in Standard right now.
Meaning most decks are going to have green anyway.
There's a deck called Junk Constellation where almost every card in there is an enchantment or Elspeth. It's like pay 2,
Elspeth.
kill your entire deck, except for Elspeth. So.
But then again, Elspeth's still enough to win, but
Yeah,
not if you don't have anything
But still,
else.
you're going to get all your stuff back from Vanishing Lights. You're going to destroy their Doom with Giants. So
And
you're going to destroy their outlets for everything.
We were ahead of the curve there when we built blue-white control without enchantment removal, and that's really good. Planar cleansing took the place of that, and that's good. I'm glad we're going to keep that. I don't think blue-white control is going to play Detention Sphere or Banishing Light anymore because of that. I will just because of that card actually existing.
That's potential to just completely eliminate.
Those cards are used specifically against green, so green's going to be like, Oh yeah, we're gonna list some of our good cards. In fact, sometimes though, like the targets for those Banishing Lights and Spheres is Crewfix and other enchantments.
Yeah,
so doing destroy enchantments is just going to destroy all the cards to get your own enchantments back.
I could see a Bant control deck that doesn't play those enchantments and just plays that instead, and like Advent of the Worm and Kiora in green. So it's blue control with those cards.
Yeah.
Even in main board, people main board deicide, why not Back to Nature if they're not playing enchantments?
Right. So, okay, now what did you have in mind for multicolor?
Okay, the most card I forgot to add to the list, which I'll add when we post show notes, is the Sliver guy.
The Sliver Hive Lord.
Sliver Hive Lord.
So it costs a WUBRG. WUBRG
costs a WUBRG.
Costs a WUBRG, and it's a 5/5. Slivers you control are indestructible. So slivers you control, not all slivers like the old ones, just like the new ones, just your slivers are indestructible. So in your 1 in 1,000 games you'll play a sliver mirror. You'll not your.
It'll be relevant. But like he was saying earlier, when you Court of Calling this guy out, things can get pretty interesting.
So maybe for a little, do you think we could see a Sliver deck at the Pro Tour?
Maybe.
Kind of like how we saw a Battle of Wits deck at the Pro Tour.
Did we?
Yeah, one time we saw some good Battle of Wits decks at the Pro Tour once.
Okay, well, there were some people. The Canada team at the last Pro Tour they did the Infinite Market Festival Kiora's Follower deck, and they went like 9-1 with it. So that was good. So I think you would see Alexander Hayne and some other guys playing something like Slivers maybe, unless they don't want to, unless they want to win.
You want miracles.
I don't think they're going to win with Slivers necessarily.
No, but I think it'd be interesting to watch. I would love to watch a game where it's good.
Slivers is a deck that you need to be aware of for FNM, for casual. Even maybe some PTQs you might see one. So you need to be aware that it exists and actually have some sort of plan against it, or else you're just dead. So.
And this is a formal challenge to any professional player that may happen upon this video. Slivers. Play Slivers.
Go for it.
Please?
You won't do it, Reed Duke.
Oh snap.
All right, Conley.
Calling him out.
The gloves are off, Conley Woods. And the next one on this review is it's going to be Garrick Apex Predator, which is, people are controversial on this one.
It's the first time since Zendikar we've seen a 4 ability Planeswalker.
So
yeah, he costs 7.
He costs 7, which is the controversial part, because 7, a lot of people are saying, is way too much for a Planeswalker to be relevant.
But look at Karn.
What about Karn?
Ramp.
And Karn does a lot of the same stuff that Garrick does.
Karn does some very similar things.
Garrick doesn't restart the game, but
Garrick being 5, a black and a green, comes out with 5 loyalty, and +1, destroy another target Planeswalker, +1. +1, put a 3/3 black beast token with Death Touch onto the battlefield.
Good enough.
-3, destroy target creature, you gain life equal to its toughness. And -8, target opponent gets an emblem with, whenever a creature attacks you, it gets +5/+5 and trample.
So the first time we've seen an opponent, like, here's an emblem. Oh, thanks. First time we've seen an opponent.
Since an emblem is a non-interactive portion of the game, here you go.
Here you go.
I'm going to swing with this 1/1. I mean, 6/6.
My Elvish Mystics are 6/6s.
It seems really good. It seems really good at in EDH.
That's true. I think it could make a splash in Standard.
No, definitely.
I've seen some comparisons to Nicol Bolas, and I think that's really not fair to say. Nicol Bolas costs 1 more than this, and also the fact that Nicol Bolas was 3 colors, and not just that, but the 3 colors were actually colors that weren't necessarily played together. They were played together just because Nicol Bolas was the thing. Green and black. Green and black are the 2 best colors in Standard, I think. They're my favorite colors, and maybe that's why I think so. But I think green and black are definitely the best colors.
Are you gonna try to play him in a?
I would play it. I would play it in a mono black splash green devotion deck. Once again, Nykthos will easily get it out faster. So if you're playing like Grey Merchants and stuff like that, but you splash for Abrupt Decay and Golgari Charm, throw in one of those.
Would you play this in a mono green deck, splash for black?
Yeah. Also that, I feel like that would also be good. Get it once again. Nykthos getting it out faster just seems like, what are you gonna do? I also thought of. We talked about that the other. I think we talked about it in a junk deck. You can Obsidian's 8 at turn 3.
You can Obsidian's 8
if you get a turn 3 Garrick. So if you go turn 1 Mystic, turn 2 Grizzly Salvage, then play Mystic, and one of your salvage
And turn 3,
hits
you've got
Garrick,
a,
then you turn 3 opposite aid, you're Garrick out.
you've got
so
a big old
you
Garrick.
win, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or you get Hero's Downfall, and then you continue playing. But then you opposite aid it again, right? I mean, this is all ideal, but
it makes
old
your
Garrick.
animator decks even more.
and you could easily see junk planeswalkers. You can go turn if you're ramping, you can go turn 3 or 4 a 5-drop like maybe Vraska or Liliana or something, and then go into Elspeth into Garrick, and then hopefully you don't get in Garrick's waked or Hero's Downfall in the process, but hopefully or super pithy needled like boom boom boom. I have 4 needles. It's one of those like, yes, it dies to Doomblade, yes, it dies to Hero's Downfall, yes, it dies to Ingarrick's Wake, but they have to have it. So
yeah,
I like it. I think Apex Predator is going to be good.
So it's going to be an interesting card. Very sought after, I'm sure.
yes.
On the artifacts, a very important reprint, I think, Ornithopter.
Yeah, we've talked about Ornithopter a lot. Zero drop, I would take it over Memnite. I'm glad it's that and not Memnite. Yes,
Because it's a flyer.
Yeah, it's a 0/2 flyer. I mean, it blocks the 1 power dudes. It flies, so it can easily. It's better for Soul Artifact.
It's important for a lot of things. It has evasion, so if you want to install it, it's a 5/7.
Yeah,
I didn't open either of those. I didn't open any.
It's unsuspecting,
Which is beautiful. Just an unsuspecting turn 2 5/7.
It's great for Shrapnel
in the
Blast. It has a lot of utility in the standard, and we're probably missing a lot of it. But we talked about a lot of ways you can just make this card really good.
Since we've been on here for quite a while, we're going to move a little bit quicker through the artifacts, I think. The Avarice Amulet.
Yeah, it's an equipment that lets you draw cards.
So.
And
yes, but if the creature dies, your opponent gets it. That's why it's
downfall.
bad. And that's enough of a downside that it's not worth it.
No, yeah. I pulled it at the pre-release, and I was like, I realized that I don't have any way to destroy their creatures, so I'm not going to get it back if I ever get it to them.
Yeah, find a way to put it on an indestructible guy, and you've got some serious stuff going on. So
yeah,
that's
it's about the only utility I can really think of
Yeah.
for it is just put it on something indestructible and go to town.
Your 4/4 Nissa Darksteel Citadel.
Yeah.
Put it on that.
So next we have Obelisk of Erd.
Yep. Once again, we talked about it quite a bit. I'm really excited. I don't know if you guys.
No, I mean I want to talk about it, but I just realized it wasn't as good in the deck I was about to say.
Oh, if you play anything tribal, which is like Minotaurs right now, is the only thing that's actually tribal.
And
super good.
Well, I can see people maybe playing it with soldiers or.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Or
I can see
declaring elementals for Master Ways.
So yeah, it's a 6-drop artifact. Convoke creature type of your choice gets +2/+2. So.
Which makes it better than Hall of Triumph.
Yeah, better than Hall of Triumph. Like definitely. Yeah, you could say elemental. You could say goblins is a thing. Minotaurs might have found their final piece to actually being a deck. We'll see.
Yes. Hopefully, I can definitely see Minotaurs in cons. So
especially on the Pro Tour,
dragons,
with the ability that Minotaurs really have to cheat each other out.
Yeah.
And
when we
Pragma
saw
Warcaller. Pragma Warcaller is a sweet card, and come to think of it, that might be my Pauper EDH commander. Think about it.
That's a really good idea.
really good.
Not bad.
Oh, so good. Anywho, I'm gonna build that deck after we're done.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Perilous Vault.
Is that the one that kills everything?
Yeah. It's like the new. It might be the only replacement we have for a
verdict.
A verdict.
Or planar cleansing.
Yeah.
So a mythic, but sort of a letdown mythic to me.
Sideboard for Planeswalker decks,
So it's
against Planeswalker decks.
It's a 4-cost artifact. Pay 5, tap it, and exile it, and exile all non-land permanents.
Yeah, exiling is really important, as not destroying.
As we've talked about all day.
But notably, it does not kill the animated Nissa lands, because it's all non-land. So if you want to be stupid and play Nissa, make a land a 4/4 the next turn. Oh, you can untap 4 lands of Nissa, play this, and then next turn animate a guy, and then kill everything else, and then have a 4/4. But you've also killed your Nissa, so.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
You could do that.
But then you just hope you can beat them to death with your 4/4 land before you lose.
That's the plan.
So that's something that I can see people maybe siding in just because there's no bird.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next one on our list is a reprint. It's going to be an interesting reprint. Phyrexian Revoker.
Yep.
So we got another Hate Bear card.
Dadgummit.
It's a 2-cost, and when you enter the battlefield, you name a card.
Is it as it enters?
As Phyrexian Revoker enters the
not
battlefield,
land, it's as.
So
as it enters, name a non-land permanent. Or non-land card, sorry. Non-land card, which is important.
Yeah.
Activated abilities of sources with that chosen name can't be activated.
It's better and worse than Pithing Needle. It does the same thing, but Needle can name lands, which is notable, and Needle can't be killed like a creature can. So, but this guy can swing. So
yeah.
I mean, we needed something like Needle, especially with all these planeswalkers.
Yeah. This is going to be definitely good for planeswalkers. Definitely a sideboard
Not
card.
to mention, he's also on a stick. For 1 mana more than Pithing Needle, it's also on a
I would
stick.
rather have Needle. I would.
No, I definitely would rather have Needle too, but I think it's good that we have something.
But now you can have Needle and Revoker.
Just for the 3-month period, you know.
Yeah. I think 3 months is.
3 or 4. What was it?
I guess July, August,
Yep.
and September.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next we have Shield of the Avatar.
I forget this card does.
We put on the list. I don't know what it is.
I know. Well,
What is this card?
you guys didn't go over the list with me.
Sorry.
So Shield of the Avatar, it is a 1-drop artifact equipment. If the source would deal damage to equipped creature, prevent X of that damage, where X is the number of creatures you control. So it's a 1-drop artifact, 2-cost equip.
Interesting. I don't know.
So in Weenies, I could see it, but at the same time, I feel like the deck this would go in, short of an Elspeth deck, it's going to be completely irrelevant.
Yeah, it's going to slow the deck down.
It's going to be on something that you really want to keep alive, but I'm not sure what that is.
So it would be like, say, a Geist of St. Traft.
Ooh.
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
I can see this on Geist of St. Traft, but I feel like it's going to slow down the deck.
But we don't have guys St. Traff and Sanford, so
Right, and that's
we
the
need,
only...
we need something that's worth saving. You know?
Yeah.
Geist of St. Traft's really one of the only targets I can think of for this.
I mean, you could put it on something in like a hexproof deck if you have a lot of dudes. I mean, somehow.
I suppose. Yeah, I guess you've got a point.
Yeah, if you're playing like Mana Rampers and you have a bunch of dudes, you could probably do that.
Possible.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. Then we have Soul of New Phyrexia, which is another really interesting one.
Yes.
Engine.
Yeah, it's the... we say the new Worm Coil Engine because we always saw Worm Coil Engine as a Titan.
It's a Titan.
It's a Titan.
It's the brown Titan.
And so it's kind of nice to see that they're putting Titans.
I was typing this into my Google, and I accidentally typed in Soul of Jew Phyrexia.
It'll do that. Yeah.
Soul of Jew Phyrexia comes up with a lot of synagogues.
I don't want to know.
Anyways, so it's nice to see that they're putting in the cycle an artifact for the cycle, which you don't get to see it often.
Yeah.
So it is a 6-cost, 6/6, colorless, completely colorless. So that makes it you can put in almost any deck. It's got trample, and it's pay 5, and all your artifacts get
I
indestructible.
think isn't it all your permanents?
Permanents you control
Oh,
become
permanents.
indestructible.
All permanents.
Permanents you become indestructible.
And then you can exile.
And then you can
5
exile for 5 and do the same.
Yeah.
thing. Which is cool.
From the bin.
And so
Some more hate for Verdict, which is why exiling is good, because you want to get rid of this guy.
yeah, this guy has been paired again with Chief Engineer a lot, saying, okay, let's convoke and get this guy out, Chief Engineer.
This is another one I feel like we consider at least Wormcoil Engine as the colorless Titan. And this guy we kind of compare as the new Titan version of Wormcoil Engine, but no one will be Wormcoil Engine, so that's an unfair comparison.
Yeah, we need to stop comparing things to Titans, because just
Quite frankly,
you're always going to come up sad.
they will never be the Titans. Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. Yeah. Yeah. So I could see this in a once again mono green deck. Like just ramp a bunch, and this saves you from Verdict. In your green deck, it's so important to keep all your stuff alive. Your rampers. You probably only have a couple lands because you have so many things that ramp. You're only going to play maybe 20, 21 lands. So making things indestructible, it's pretty important.
A 6-drop 6/6 trample is definitely a snap pick in any kind of sealed.
Yeah, you're gonna play it.
It has no color.
It's
It's basically
There's no reason
whatever
not
you got.
to. No reason not to play it.
snap pick it in limited of any sort.
Yeah, why not?
In a draft, that's
nothing
probably going
else,
to be
it's
the best
worth
card in the
money,
pack anyway, too. So.
Yeah, it's probably worth
Nothing
it.
else is really worth something, right?
If nothing else, it's mythic, so, I mean...
Hard to find.
Next one's really exciting.
Yeah.
Who's do this one?
The next one is my absolute favorite card in the set, Scuttling Doom Engine. And that's like... I'm going to go ahead and give Wizards like 10,000 points for flavor with the name. Because it's a Doom engine, which is terrifying. But at the same time, it's scuttling.
which is not terrifying.
Which is not terrifying. It's actually sort of silly.
It's like a big baby. It's like a baby terrorizing a town. Like, it's terrifying, but it's so adorable.
If you look on Google and search Scuttling Doom Engine, the second picture that pops up is actually the card itself with a picture of Grr from Invader Zim on its head.
Oh wow! I was imagining Dr. Zoidberg, but
yeah, I can see Dr.
Zoidberg. What's the flavor text on this card?
The flavor text: a masterwork of spite inspired by madness.
Okay, so not terribly exciting.
Another, again, 6 cost 6/6. It's colorless, so snap pick it. 6 cost 6/6. Scuttling Doom Engine can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less.
So no
weenie stopping him.
No chump blocks.
No chump blocks. And when Scuttling Doom Engine dies, it deals 6 damage to target opponent, making it a very flavorful shrapnel blast target.
Very, very, very.
So swinging for 6 and then dealing 11 more.
Just imagine shooting this thing out of the cannon. This is terrible. Flavor. Oh, jeez. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's probably the card that I'm most excited about. I don't know how much I'm actually gonna play it.
I don't know if it's right that I keep thinking of things in like reanimator decks. Like,
no, it's fine.
I don't know if it's just me, but like
you're thinking of everything in reanimator decks, and I'm thinking of everything in a Chief Engineer deck.
You've just gone ahead and tainted your entire Magic dome.
I'm sorry, but
Reanimator.
Reanimate this? Jeez, like you're gonna. What if you're playing red? You're playing red with Shrapnel Blast too. You're playing 4-color Reanimator. You know, you play it, you swing, you Shrapnel Blast it, you reanimate, you Shrapnel Blast it again. They're dead, right? That's 22 damage. You're dead.
If you weren't watching or you don't remember from the beginning of the video, his favorite deck is Reanimator.
I love Reanimator.
Pretty much anything Reanimator.
Love it.
Whatever we do, he's going to play Reanimator.
I don't like Scavenging Moves.
So next, we're going to discuss...
Ouch.
It's fine.
It's
rotated.
The Pain Lands.
Yes.
They're good.
The Pain Lands, which will be replacing the Shock Lands.
Yeah.
Half of them. Half of the Shock Lands.
This brings up a huge question in my mind. Mark Rosewater, I asked him, and he didn't answer. I asked him why. He said back less than a year ago, he said, from now on, as much as we can in printing cycles, we're going to print all 10, of a cycle of multicolor stuff. So everyone, so there's no archetypes that are at an advantage. And I'm wondering why he only printed 5. Why they only printed 5 immediately after he said that. So that's another reason why we think that fetch lands are going to be back, because onslaught fetches are allied and these are enemy.
So this way, it's not not exactly the same, but at least we'll have an even amount.
The only other logical thing is that maybe they will print them in cons, the other 5. But I understand. But what if they do that and then they print all 10 in the next core set?
I don't think they're going to do that. I think if they put 5 in cons, they're going to put 5 in this set, 5 in cons, and then put those same 5 from this core set in the next core set, so that that they're never out without. Yeah, and then all 10 will rotate out at the same time.
These might be the new Buddy Lands, but they also never did all 10 of those either.
Well, not in a core set.
Yeah, but they maybe like Innistrad, Innistrad had the other Buddy Lands. These ones will have. Cons will have the other 5.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but I just that with Innistrad, those are new. Like those new Buddy Lands were
right.
Never been seen before. They're only ever seen in Innistrad. I want to see them. I kind of want to see them reprint just so more access to them. I guess
it raises so many questions in my mind. I just want to know. I just want it to be September so I can figure this out.
I just want to be able to play a modern deck and have lands that I can go get lands that I need.
Yeah,
I want fetches.
And not have to pay $100 each for them.
I'm hoping. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like to see that.
Wizards are a bunch of teases. They're teasing me. I want fetches.
We all want fetches.
It's like, we want fetches. Here's Pain Lands. That's not the same. These are $2. So
these were $2 before.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So the next one is Darksteel Citadel.
Yep.
Plain and simple, indestructible, colorless.
It can be a 4/4. It doesn't die.
It can be a 4/4. It doesn't. It can be a 5/5.
Yeah.
And Solar Artifact, Treble Blast, Nissa.
That's all. We've already said it. We've already said it all. We're just going to move on.
Yep.
So the land after that is Sliverhive. Makes playing Sliver is actually more reasonable.
Sliver's finally got
land. It's a significant effect to convoke if it's been out for a couple turns, especially with Court of Calling bringing out the Sliver Overlord.
Yeah.
It's just something else you can do off to the side if you don't need the mana.
Yeah.
You can just make dudes.
Pay 6 for a 1/1. Everyone wants to do that, right?
Well, it gets all the abilities of the other ones.
Yeah, but if you guys don't want one,
you've got nothing in hand and nothing to do. Hey,
It's 5 and tap it.
Oh, that's true.
So it's basic.
So 6, yeah. But the other good thing is that it taps for any color as long as you use it for sliver.
Which is important, yeah.
And so with those and the and Mana Confluence, they have 8 lands that if you play a silver deck.
Plus, it should be noted that pain lands, they really help the process. Like, you'd be surprised how little damage you take from pain lands if you're playing slivers. Like, it's really, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I mean, your base color is gonna be green though, anyways.
I don't think you really need a base color, honestly.
I think if you're gonna have a base color, your priority color is probably gonna be green.
Well, you're only gonna need.
It was just a little bit more.
You're only gonna need 4 mana whiffs. Like, that's.
Right, but you also got core callings.
I guess, but you can. I mean, all right.
I was saying.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Probably.
And the land after that is
WUBRG.
Tomb of Yawgmoth.
This was a couple like $30-$40, and they printed it, and I have no idea why. There's a deck that plays it. I like the thought of the Domri Obliterator deck that you can go turn 3 Domri with your Shockler lands or whatever, and then turn 4 play WUBRG and then slam down Obliterator and fight this thing, kill all your permanents.
Seems great.
That's where my mind went to. WUBRG is the only thing that allows that to be possible.
Yeah.
So you throw down the WUBRG and you windmill slam.
Windmill slam your Obliterator.
It's like, where did that come from?
That's pretty
It's
sick.
like, well, you didn't have any black before, but now you do.
Yeah, I mean, this card's been in from the Vault decks, from the Vault sets. It's really old, and well, not really old. So many people are like, "What are you talking about? This isn't like anywhere close to alpha."
Yeah, we're talking about it. 20 years old.
Yeah, but a lot of people are just saying, if you're playing black, you play one of these.
Right. Why not?
I mean, it just uses it as a swamp instead of swamp, and you basically means that okay, at least your swamp. When you need black mana, you're gonna have it.
Notably, you can play Mutavault and not have to worry about stuff like Night Veil Spectre not being cast if you play like WUBRG.
Yeah.
You can tap your Mutavault for black. So I mean, that's like the only real difference I can see in Standard. I really think that this was only printed just to make it cheaper. I think that's.
Yeah, like Core Calling and Thoughtseize and Mutavault.
I think they did kind of have plans for Thoughtseize and Mutavault. I think they kind of did have plans for those.
They've been pretty significant.
They have been.
They've been significant. Thoughtseize, I don't know. I think more or less, I think it probably was the same thing, but I think they really went well. I think Thoughtseize was a really good success.
All right, and so that's our discussion on some of the cards that we see as being really interesting. One card I forgot to mention back in black. This card is not good. I don't think so. Oh, I guess you said it has possibilities.
Sure.
It's Stain the Mind.
Stain the Mind. Oh, it's the new Slaughter Games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 5-cost. It's 4 and a black. Convoke Slaughter Games, right?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason I want to mention it is because the other day
it's uncounterable.
Yeah. It's not uncounterable though. Yes.
So this card has on it is one of the playing player cards, which means it's depicting a player in it.
Yep.
And the player of choice for this card is BBD.
BBD. Yep.
The other day, though, he was complaining about the card because in the card, he's the one that's having his mind stained.
He wanted to be the guy staining the mind, but he was actually the victim of the stains.
So it was like
he's like the guy's on him, and then he's
just like
the bald guy.
So
it's pretty funny.
It was kind of like a big slap in the face from Wizards.
Yeah.
Sorry, BBD. You seem like a cool guy. I'm sorry.
The card itself, it hurt me on Saturday morning, Friday night, because I'm a loudmouth and said I had 2 Tormentors in my deck, and someone was like, "Stain the Mind, Tormentor!" And 2 of my best cards were gone out of my field deck, and then I milled myself out.
Did you win that deck game?
No, I milled myself out because 2 of my guys were gone. So
that's right. Because 2 of your guys were gone. That draw you more cards.
That's a shame. That's if you learn nothing else from this video, don't tell people what you have in your sealed deck.
If you have something good,
how to build it either.
If you have something good, shut up. Just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I just can't help it. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about. We didn't have any tournaments to talk about today, except for just pre-release.
We'll try to talk about the most recent tournament and like the implications of that tournament with the standard or like modern or legacy, whatever.
Just the metas.
How the metas going to change.
And like what we see is like maybe some new decks that we saw. Like, oh wow, did you see this deck?
Yeah, like the last Star City games, we had blue-white heroic with Mage's Elemental, which is nasty cool.
With trait doctrine.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
It was about the dirtiest deck I think I've seen that was just off the beaten path.
I believe it was Chris Canavan was the guy who ran that. It was super cool. you can find that YouTube video of Star City.
Yeah.
Last tournament.
But because we don't have any terms to talk about, we are going to talk about what we expect to see or some things we'd like to see at Pro Tour M15.
Coming up soon.
When is that happening? 2 weeks?
It's in 2 or 3 weeks. I forget exactly. It was.
I think it's
beginning of August. I think August like 1st or 2nd.
Yeah. As soon as I'm not here.
Yep.
I'll be away in Cincinnati. Not for Magic.
Yeah, not for Magic related. Yeah. So. We saw a lot of stuff. I learned a lot from watching the last GP, the block constructed GP. Like the only one of the year. Like there's only one.
Well, the first thing we should note though is that this is going to be a standard.
It's standard, yes, but like you're seeing a lot of like people want to move forward for the future and see what's happening and try new things out. I think the pros are actually pretty cool about trying out new stuff that might not work for the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. And this one seems like a really good opportunity to do that. I
mean, this will have the most cards in standard at one time as possible.
Right.
So.
Like 2,000, like 1,500 or something ridiculous.
It's gonna be a lot of cards.
A lot of cards, but like probably only like a couple hundred will actually make a difference. So I think mono black aggro is certainly something to look forward to. It's becoming increasingly the most popular deck I've played against online a lot, just because you have a lot of utility against board wipes and you have the aggro part of it, so you get best of both worlds there. And obviously, I think control decks are going to be huge. I think blue-white is still good. John Monsters might get played, mono black. It's interesting that like there's a lot of different stuff out there. Like it's not like a Thragtusk based meta.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like there's no Delver. There's no like by far this is the best deck. It's either play this deck or play to beat it. Mono black is kind of like that, but it's kind of not like that anymore. There's a lot of different
mono
stuff.
Black is. I mean, it's still the top deck played, but it's still taking a downfall, which is funny because
Heroes Downfall. I mean, that's
But anyway,
in stone.
I want to see not 85% of the decks playing Elspeth.
Ooh.
I would like to see a mono green deck.
I think
with Nissa, I think green black. I think Jerry Thompson was playing a green black deck. It was green devotion with black for Farrakha, and Farrakha with Eidolon of Blossoms was really cool.
Do you get an enchantment?
Yeah, it's an enchantment Death Touch Snake, so it triggers Constellation. Do stuff like that, and then you get Garrick as well, and then Garrick's Wake maybe. Certainly would be a cool deck. I think you might see it. So.
I just want to see something that's no Elspeth.
I just want to see something. I just want to see some cards that no one's seeing and them broken.
Yeah, do something with Ensoul Artifact and Shrapnel Blast. I think that would be cool. I think red-blue artifacts would be really cool.
It'd be a really interesting deck. So with that, we move on. It kind of goes in hand with how we see the current state of standard. As long as we've been playing, I think this is one of the healthiest, maybe second healthiest moment.
Healthy. Yeah.
I'm gonna say the healthiest moment
probably
in standard since we started playing. Of course, we started playing with Cobblade, so that didn't help.
Yeah, right after the bannings. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people might say that the Innistrad Ravnica was really good, and it was really healthy because it was very diverse. But at the same time, cards were more expensive then.
Yeah, cards they're a lot cheaper now, which is really cool.
I am so happy to see the most expensive card right now is Elspeth at 20. Let's also check. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure it's going to change over time.
Until Friday.
Yeah,
until Friday.
So there's that, and most of the gods are under 10.
Yeah, it's cool.
And all their weapons are like. I mean, weapons don't play that very much.
Those have been like bulk rares since, like a little more than bulk rares since they came out.
The whip's the only one that really stands alone at like $3.
Yeah, and that's only because it was an intro pack deck or an event deck when it first came out. So I mean,
it must have been an event deck.
They did a really good job of equalizing.
Yeah, because I think whip is the best by far. But.
Yeah, whips with merchant.
Yeah, I mean it's super cool. I think there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's getting harder and harder to be a consistently good player when there's so many decks that you can play. If you're not playing like super competitively, playing like FNMs, there's a lot of things that you got to watch out for, which I think is cool. And more now than ever, there's no deck that just wins against everything.
Yeah,
there's nothing out there that just wins every time. There's always you play a deck knowing going into a tournament or something that there's going to be a deck that if I play against it, I probably am not going to win.
No, yeah.
And that plus the chance at getting just a bad draw, which happens to everybody, it adds so much more chance to it. So, and I think that Magic is it's cool that when it's more chance based, because if you want to play something that's not based on chance, play chess.
Next thing.
Play chess instead. That's all I'm saying. So.
All right. We're just gonna skip down. So we like pretty much all formats.
Yep.
We've tried some very obscure formats. I'm pretty sure one form we have made up is Big Stack.
Big Deck.
Big Deck.
Yeah, Big Deck.
Big Deck. My friend from California that used to play way back in the day has since seen a lot less play, but he told me about a format called Big Deck, which is just a bunch of random stupid things you would never play, and things with very expensive abilities that are terribly broken if you can do them once per turn for free. So there's no mana involved, everybody shares the same deck, and basically you can play one spell per turn.
Yeah. But so we like formats, and so we've been talking about a lot of constructed formats and talking about sealed, and we're going to do some look at some sealed pools later, like I mentioned earlier. But today we're just going to do something that a lot of podcasts do anyways, just to you guys come back once in a while, and we're going to do some cracking of packs. These are the new M15 packs. These are actually some I've won.
And not even out yet.
I know. I won these at the last tournament, and I resisted the urge to open them so we could share it with you guys.
For the sake of the podcast.
For the sake of the podcast. And so we're going to start here. You got mine. My pack's on the open. All right.
Well, I get a pack.
So we'll open it, and that didn't work very well. So we're
I
going to open
don't
up.
do that because it helps actually open it. People think that's like a ritual. I just do that because it actually helps open the pack.
Oh, I just do it because of the ritual.
Compromises the integrity of the air.
All right. Now the first card in here, I'm actually really excited about. I'm going to just read each card. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is and what it does.
Look it up.
Look it up. If I get around to it, I'm going to put the card in the video if you guys listening on the podcast. Hopefully you're listening to a podcast, so you probably know what this card does anyways.
Figure it out. Tell us what you're going to pick.
Yes. Yeah, so we're going to tell you what we'd pick, and then you guys tell us why we're wrong.
Comments.
So our first card is Triplicate Spirits. So, convoke with 3 1/1 spirit tokens.
Yep.
I like that card a lot. I think it's got potential.
3 convoke.
I got Nimbus of the Isles, flying 3/3 for 5. I'll give you guys some brief stuff about it. Lava Axe, 5 deal 5 damage to target player. That's not bad. Tireless Missionaries. 1 Tireless Missionaries enters the battlefield, gain 3 life. 4 cost 2/3. 5 cost 2/3. Sorry. Flush to Dust. Pretty much the only removal.
The only hard removal
I'll take it.
in the set.
So 5 cost 3, 2 black. Destroy target creature. It can't be
Is
regenerated.
that like Bone to Ash?
Maybe.
Kind of.
Vine Weft. 1 green chain creature gets +1/+1, and you can pay 5 to return it to your hand from the graveyard.
Sure.
Eternal Thirst. 1 in black. Chant creature. Creature has lifelink. When a creature dies, your opponent dies, get a +1/+1 counter.
Yep.
Living Totem. 3 in green. Convoke. 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature.
Sweet.
Sign in Blood.
Sign Blood. This is a good pack.
Yeah, this is not bad at all.
Sign Blood.
Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Pretty
Probably
good.
you.
Probably you. Unless you're going to kill your opponent off.
Yep.
Radiant Fountain. Meh.
Tap for colorless, gain 2 life when it comes in.
Seraph Sanctuary.
Yeah, I mean, at least it doesn't come in tapped.
Seraph Sanctuary minus the Angel
If you play
Demon.
mono brown, you can play it.
Moving on to our uncommons. Ulcerate.
Also good.
How about that? First Response, which is a 3 and a white enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you lost life last turn, put a 1/1 white soldier creature onto the battlefield. Exacted Skyblade.
Oh.
What?
It's a good card.
2 in a black, 2/1 hexproof, the 3 cost. And pay 4 until end of turn. He loses hexproof but gains first strike and death touch.
Yeah.
That seems good.
It's really. I played against it and I got my butt kicked by it. So
That's
I know it's good.
And our rare is Ob Nixilis Unshackle.
Which we also discussed earlier.
Yeah.
So 4 2 black, 4/4 flying trample.
Don't search your library.
Don't search your library. No, I mean you can search your library a lot.
Yeah,
Just don't let your opponent light your opponent.
So I mean, like,
so what would you take from this?
wait,
Be patient.
I mean, Ob Nixilis is obviously. I mean, it's kind of a bomb, but I wouldn't mind playing against it because I'm not really gonna search my library for anything. It does cost 6. I don't know. I mean,
we're assuming pack one, pick one.
I would definitely take it.
Assuming we're drafting.
I don't know.
Assuming we're drafting, I think my first pick is going to have to be Flesh to Dust.
Flesh to Dust is for article.
It's good. Yeah, this is definitely a black heavy.
No, this is definitely a black. You want to take black cards. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of black left over.
That's not necessarily true because people decide you were gonna take black and then you're not gonna get it in pack 2. So
Yeah,
you gotta consider that as well. The guy to whatever your left, the guy passing it to, is gonna play black because they're probably gonna take Obnixilis if you take Flesh to Dust.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, if you want to eliminate red from the pack and just make sure you play red.
Just play Lovax. Why not?
Lovax.
Yeah.
Like
It's not bad. I mean, honestly, it's good.
Yes. I'm not sure. I mean, we haven't had a lot of experience with this limited format yet.
We'll have to. Yeah.
So maybe red is good.
As much as we know, flying is overpowered.
Flying wins.
I do like Obnixilis. It's a toss-up between Obnixilis and Flesh to Dust because you're going to want to get rid of their threat, but at the same time, Obnixilis is also a 5/4 flyer.
Yeah. I mean,
how often are they going to search the black?
It's between like all these black cards. Well, even that, but it's 6 cost 4/4 flying trample.
We talked about how much we don't like Sphinxes. Well, if they don't search the library, it's going to be a Sphinx, isn't it? It's a black Sphinx. So I mean,
hey, I thought Sphinx was great in limited. All the Sphinxes are great in limited.
Right. So, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is one of these black cards. The black is really good here.
There's like 5 black cards there.
Yeah, 5 good black cards. I mean, you got Flesh of Dust, Sign of Blood, Ulcerate, Zest of Skyblade.
All good.
All good. Obnixilis.
I'll take Skyblade. I'll take Skyblade.
I mean, I'm also looking at Triplicate Spirits. I mean, you could try maybe eliminating white from the pack. And this doesn't work too often. I mean, I've tried doing it before. It doesn't really work. I tend to.
Hey, it's an alright card.
I think Triplicate Spirits is definitely strong. I think I think there's a strong cards here. I think the rest are.
It's either going to be Flesh to Dust or Obnixilis. It's going to have to be a momentary impulse decision on those two.
I mean, luckily, you got your first pack pick one. You have some time. So let's. So what card would you guys say?
Unless you're playing with people that are patient, like my friend.
So what do you guys?
Right now.
If we're drafting,
yeah, we're drafting.
I think I have to take Obnixilis.
Okay.
Skyblade. Yep.
All right. Well, if you guys say we removed those 2 cards.
Flesh to Dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously. Flesh to
Okay.
Dust.
So it's clear. It's pretty clear what the strong cards are here.
Yep. The black ones.
The black ones.
2 of the black ones.
Almost all the black ones.
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Even like Eternal Thirst is like probably the 5th best card in the back, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Which just the funny
Just
thing.
sad.
Oh no, there's 6 black cards in this pack.
Oh, there's
Black
6?
cards in this
Jeez.
pack.
6 black cards in this pack.
None of the other ones are really anything to sneeze at.
Yep.
Either.
Yeah.
True.
And one of them's Radiant Fountain.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's going to be the gift there.
Okay.
All right.
It is something to be a gift.
Okay. So
All right.
pack 2.
This is virtual didn't.
So easy comes out. It's gone.
Okay. So card 1 in this pack is going to be Solemn Offering. 3 cost, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 4 life, 2 and a white.
Good enough.
Number 2 is going to be Aeronaut Tinker, which is a 3 cost, 2 and a blue, 2/3. He has flying as long as you control an artifact.
Do it.
Third card here is Crowd's Favor, which is 1 red, Convoke. Instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and first strike for the turn.
That took down one of my creatures.
That's good.
It's pretty good.
Well, next one here's one that I'm really curious about. I would play it in just about every deck that I would play.
I like it.
It's a 2 cost, 1 and a white. Sungrace Pegasus, 1/2 flying lifelink.
Had 3 of those in Prerelease. 3 of them.
3 of them.
Which is pretty nifty.
It was awesome.
Next one is Black Cat, 1 and a black, 1/1. When it dies, target opponent discards a card
really
at
good.
random.
It's really good.
At random. Actually pretty good. The random.
It's really good.
Next one is Plummet. 2 cost, 1 and a green, instant, destroy target creature with flying.
So a sideboard card even in limited.
Next we've got Satyr Wayfinder.
This was probably Colin's MVP.
Oh, so good.
Colin's MVP. It's a 1 and a green, 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put a land from among them in your hand. The rest go to the graveyard. Next we have Evolving Wilds. Tap it, sack it, and search for a basic land. Put it out
Drop,
tap.
tap, and sack.
People really underestimate the card in
It's
limited.
really good.
Like, people don't understand how good that is.
It's the green pack.
Next is Elvish Mystic,
Elvish Mystic. It's a green
which is
pack.
the 1 cost, 1/1 green, tap for a
Llanowar
green.
Elf.
Llanowar Elves.
And we have Rot Feaster Maggot,
Gross.
This
which
card
is 4 and a black, 3/5 frame.
I don't like that card at all.
11 is
And
nice.
when it enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard, gain life equal to its toughness.
Pretty good.
And onto the uncommons, we have Night Fire Giant, which is a 5-cost, 4 and a black. It is a 4/3 frame. It gets +1/+1 as long as you control a mountain. And pay 4 and a red, and it deals 2 damage to target creature or player.
Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I mean, that's decent.
Next is Paragon of New Dawns. It's a 3 and a white, 4-cost, 2/2. Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. Pay a white, tap it. Another target white creature you control gains vigilance until the end of the turn.
Quickly.
And next, Quickling, which is a 1 and a blue, 2/2, flash, and flying. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless we return another creature to it, or you control to its owner's hand.
So it's not bad.
And I can tell just from looking at the bottom of this one, it's Phyto Titan.
Good old Phyto Titan.
So it's a 6-cost, 7/2. When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control at the beginning of his or her next upkeep. So this pack,
So if you feel like recurring threats, Phyto Titan's for you. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
this pack is definitely green heavy.
It's green.
I like the Sungrace Pegasus. I like the Quickling, and I like the Llanowar Elf.
Well, you're crazy. Phyto Titan. That's the pick. Come on. You know what's good? Card advantage. You know what's good? Phyto Titan.
I think card advantage.
It's recurring.
It's recurring.
Yeah, it's a free 7/2. The turn as you play it.
From what I've seen so far, green's not a huge threat in the core set, or so it seems. I think if you take Phyto Titan here first,
You might probably get the rest of
you're
it back.
probably going to see either the Wayfinder or the Mystic come
I don't
back.
think you're going to see Mystic again. I think Mystic
No.
is going to get taken.
Mystic's
my second pick. Second best pick in this pack.
I think Wayfinder might come back. He might find his way back
Wayfinder
around.
probably.
Probably.
If he doesn't, I don't know. I like the Quickling too.
I think is interesting.
But if that's not there, the Sungrace Pegasus is also a nice choice.
Flyer and lifelink.
Here's a flyer, a 2/2 flyer for 2 with flash. Here's a 1/2 flyer with lifelink for 2.
Quickling seems good in a deck that like you build yourself, so you can play stuff like Ornithopter if you get it.
The thing I don't like about that is you're also sending a plummet back around.
That's true. But if these plummet on your 2/2, you're probably okay with that, right?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Pretty much.
So Phyto Titan, and then
Yeah,
Mystic.
almost definitely. I'm not expecting to see Mystic come back,
No.
but it's a common, so I'm going to see more Mystics than Phyto Titans. So
And not to mention, Phyto Titan's still a 7/2.
7/2. So if you find a way to get rid of blockers, like if you had this next pack was this black one here, then you'd probably go green-black and be okay with it because you'd get removal to get your Phyto Titan through. You'd also have a Wayfinder, so you're probably getting into graveyard-based strategy, which is what green-black in this set is all about.
This is what you want to do all the time.
No, I mean that's literally what it's about. Like if you look at the cards, if you play green-black deck, it's about filling up your graveyard. That's what it's about. So graveyard-based strategies are good. Phyto Titan.
Phyto Titan.
I sold it. Yes.
You sold it. You got it.
My quota.
To me, first pick was either Phyto Titan or Quickling.
All right.
And I sold it to you.
And so I guess the last thing we're going to talk about is a controversy amongst ourselves.
7 power sold it to me.
And the question is, so as a group, as a team, we call ourselves Team Ride the Buffalo. So you might find us around. We have a cube that we play often. We're going to play this weekend, and we're trying to decide.
Yeah, we have we all kind of pitch in our ideas on like what goes in, and we're really thinking, do we want the Soul Cycle in the cube? And so a little bit about this cube in particular. It's not like the Magic Online cube. It's not literally the best cards ever. It's just the best cards from Scars Block on with a couple modern cards like Path to Exile and whatever. So the question here is, do you think that the Soul Cycle is fun enough or good enough and limited that it would be good in a cube? That's my question.
In the show notes, if you are either listening to the podcast or if you are looking at the comments of the YouTube channel page, you will see a link to the tapped out page that has our cube in it.
Yep.
And so just take a look at that, tell us what you think, and take your ideas into consideration.
Yeah, it's changing every set, so we try to add at least a little bit from every set. So it's not about being competitive. It's about having players that aren't necessarily well versed in Magic to be able to hop in and draft with us. You know, we're about having a good time playing something we know and something we actually have, which is the new stuff. So
and the cube is currently how big? How many people is it?
570 cards.
We sit how many people?
At least 12. It's like 13 and a half is actually what 12 is the most round number we can. So
yeah, and so we it's 12, and then we have some extra cards for like the
like lore seeker stuff that adds cards. So we did add some conspiracy cards.
Yes.
So you can test out drafting it on Tapped Out. But I'll let you know if you pick lore seeker, you're not getting another pack. So,
yeah, it's not gonna work.
Don't pick it. Yeah, that's my advice. If you pick Clockwork Librarian, you're not going to be able to put it back, so don't do that.
Yeah.
They need to fix that. So.
Can you take conspiracy cards? But yeah, okay.
You can take conspiracy cards, you just can't use them. So
some of the draft mechanics won't work.
Maybe they fix it. I don't know, but
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
You shouldn't doubt it. It's too hard to code.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all we have to talk about today. We're going to try to do this weekly, as we are WUBRG Weekly.
WUBRG Weekly.
So we'll see you guys next week at same time on Mondays. Have a wonderful day.
Goblin test pilot out.